Chapter 214, We Belong Together. Chapter 214, We Belong Together. I just got some information about the ancient gates of heaven. Shi Yan's expression was sullen. He explained all the information he got from the ice-cold flame to Yang Lao. The information that the ice-cold flame knew were extremely old. Old enough that even some of the warriors now can hardly notice them on ancient sites. Even Yang Lao had never heard of these information relayed from the ice-cold flame. When Shi Yan clarified the situation, Yang Lao was extremely shocked and stayed silent for a long time. Where did you get these information from? Can you confirm that they are true? Yang Lao took in a deep breath. His expression was extremely serious. From the ice-cold flame, Shi Yan nodded. In its long life, it once made a lot of contact with many God Realm Masters from ancient times. These information are all from the memories of those God Realm Masters. I think there won't be any mistake. In the fourth demon area, the two demon kings Qi Yan and Bo Sun seem to always be unfriendly with each other. If your information is true, then these two demon kings probably have been plotting against our Yang family for ages. If a passageway connecting the underworld and the demon area really takes hundreds of years to connect, then these two demon kings probably started to secretly plot against us hundreds of years ago. Light flashed in Yang Lao's eyes. In that case, Bo Sun came to capture Xiaohani. His motive should be to force your great-grandpa to seek him alone. Then he collaborated with Qi Yan and used the demon seal formation to deal with your great-grandpa. To deal with our Yang family, these two demon kings sure planned deliberately. Even you didn't know about the situation of the connection between the underworld and the demon area. Shi Yan was stunned. Shaking his head, Yang Lao said, "Maybe the last time demon dwellers and dark dwellers collaborated was too far from now. So far that no one knew of the secret. I didn't know the rest of the leaders of the forces in the Endless Sea should not have known either. AI, this thing is too troublesome now. I think even if the leaders of those forces hear us talk about the situation in this, they wouldn't believe it. Instead, they will think our Yang family is tricking them on purpose." Shi Yan was silent. He knew that Yang Lao's prediction might come true. In front of this big change that might sweep through the entire Endless Sea, he, who is only in the disaster realm, with no reputation of his name, can make no influence at all. He also knew that he, as of now, cannot bring much help to the Yang family. It's all right after getting this information. At least we know what the demon dweller and the dark dwellers plan to do. Being able to know their next moves, now we can make early preparations. Yang Lao patted Shi Yan's shoulder and comforted him. Don't worry too much. The Yang family is able to stand in the Endless Sea for many years without falling. Naturally, we have things that back us up. In the worst-case scenario, we can just temporarily retreat from this place. When those people can see through the situation, then we'll fight our way back. It's not a big deal to lose our Yang family's things. We will take them back sometime. Shi Yan knew that he was talking about the magical mountains on a mortal island. Don't think about it too much. Continue to stay here and think of a way to tame the demon ghost. Your great-grandpa said you can do it, then I believe you definitely can. In this time, I will prepare an emergency plan. When things go wrong, I will arrange you to a safe place. All right, I'll be going now. You should be diligent yourself. Remember, our Yang family won't fall. Your generation is all quite well. In the future, our Yang family is still going to stand in the Endless Sea. This small setback won't beat us down. Oh, I understand. After Yang Lao left, Shi Yan temporarily stopped cultivating the electric shift. He crossed his legs and sat down in the valley, just intensely staring at Demon Ghost. Time was running out. In a month, if he can't tame Demon Ghost, then he might not see Demon Ghost again and lose this ultimate opportunity. Do you know if there is a way to tame this demon beast? Shi Yan asked the ice-cold flame. To tame a demon beast, usually you have to have a stronger capability than them. Only with overwhelming power you can beat them until they are afraid of you and make them tame. The ice-cold flame came with a reply quickly, but your power obviously can't suppress this level 6 demon-beast hybrid. Under this situation, you can only use soul communication. Or if the power on your body makes the demon-beast feel approachable, making it feel like you and it are the same type of creature, then it might grow close with you. Soul communication? Similar power types. Shi Yan frowned deeply. Why would Yang Qingdi think that he is destined with this demon ghost? Why would he think that only he can get the affection of the demon ghost? In all of this, there had to be some secret he didn't know about. Shi Yan felt like he seemed to have gotten a grasp on something, but thinking of it closely, in this time he almost used every possible method, but demon ghost just won't comply. Was there anything he hadn't used in him? A similar power type? In his own body, is there a power that was unused when taming the demon ghost? Suddenly a light flashed in his head, and Shi Yan abruptly stood up. Negative energies. Shi Yan's eyes suddenly brightened. He looked at the demon ghost without blinking, and seemed to have grasped the crucial point. In these days, he kept trying to use soul communication with the demon ghost. To try to get closer with it, he tried many different methods, but he had never really used the negative energies inside him. On the demon ghost, there was constantly a violent, bloodthirsty, cruel presence. This was the absolute evil power. These powers were obviously not from the right path. It was completely different from the presence of other creatures. In the demon ghost's heart, it seemed to have been filled with hate and devastation towards people. The evil presence and the negative powers flowing out of his own meridians, were they extremely similar in type? What have you thought of? The ice-cold flame was very surprised. Did you find a way? Shi Yan didn't answer. His expression was cold, as he walked step by step towards the demon ghost. Roar! The demon ghost roared again. A flow of hurricane-like, fierce power suddenly swept towards all directions from it. On its creepy ghost face, its bright green evil eyes kept watching Shi Yan. With the blast of the fierce power, the evil power that went straight for the soul, also quietly went towards Shi Yan's area. Once Shi Yan steps into the forbidden area, the evil power from the demon ghost will completely burst out. Dude, you're going in again? You have to be careful this time. My power is sealed by your stupid ring again, the ice-cold flame reminded him. Sure, Yan already stopped communicating with it. He stepped towards the demon ghost, and soon he was going to come close to the 100-meter forbidden area. He could already feel the dark energy and demon energy stirring in the evil flames. These two powers that were not from this dimension flared in the evil flame, bringing the demon ghost's evil soul consciousness. It was like hurricanes and giant tides that were extremely fierce and violent. Roar! The demon ghost roared again. It seemed to think that Shi Yan was challenging its patience. Its 10-meter-long body suddenly stood up violently, and the metal chains wrapping around its body made loud, clashing sounds. Shi Yan suddenly stirred the negative powers in his meridians. In just a mere moment, negative emotions like violence, madness, hate, and devastation immediately flee Shi Yan's mind. Inside his body, the negative powers surged, forming into a light white mist that was cold and evil. The demon ghost suddenly became quiet. 110 meters away, the demon ghost that was always rampaging suddenly displayed a trace of confusion in its green evil eyes for the first time. It just looked at Shi Yan and actually didn't move its body to try to escape from the chains again. The vibrant green eyes that should have been filled with bloodthirsty, murderous thoughts, at this moment, became extremely focused. It seemed to be thinking, hesitating, and deciding about something. Shi Yan's body did not stop. He just kept stirring the negative powers, using the negative powers to spread around his entire body, and stepped into the demon ghost's forbidden area. 1 foot in. There seemed to be hesitation in the demon ghost's green yes. The evil and violent negative energies slowly spread out and actually surged towards the demon ghost. At the same time, the overflowing negative emotions in his head, combined with wisps of soul consciousness, formed into extremely evil conscious thoughts, also flew towards the demon ghost at the same time. The conscious thoughts this time were completely different from other times. Inside it brought negative emotions, making Shi Yin almost go insane, giving him a thought that wanted to destroy everything and slaughter all the creatures in the world. Normally, when these thoughts appear in Shi Yan's mind, Shi Yin wouldn't be far from madness. Normally, he would keep suppressing it to sustain the clarity in his mind. However, at this moment, he did not hold back at all. He forwardly let go his sense of reason and let those negative emotions take charge. Shi Yan's eyes slowly turned red, as if blood was dripping out of them. He seemed like an evil creature that crawled out of the depths of hell, with a body full of devastating, insane powers. The demon ghost suddenly became quiet. The evil presence that surrounded it suddenly ceased like tides. It just blankly stared at Shi Yin. Those evil green eyes that were supposed to be filled with bloodthirst actually showed a joyful emotion. Shi Yin stepped towards it, his eyes were bright red, and was slowly losing his sanity. The demon ghost just happily looked at him. All his hostility was completely gone. It seemed to be waiting, looking forward to something. Hoo. The demon ghost's breathing was heavy. It actually seemed a little ecstatic. The enormous body that originally stood up slowly laid down on the ground. Shi Yin arrived in front of the demon ghost. Its back that was covered with sharp spikes suddenly lightly shook in one area. It could be seen that the spikes in that area slowly contracted and shrank back into its body. On the demon ghost's back, there was suddenly a blotch of flat ground that could fit exactly one person. Shi Yin leaped up and flew towards that area, then steadily crossed his legs to sit down. He grinned and laughed. We belong together. Boom, boom, boom. The 12 chains binding the demon ghost's entire body suddenly shattered. The constraints that Yang Qingdi put on the demon ghost were completely gone. Roar! The demon ghost let out a carefree roar. Its enormous body shook and flew into the sky with flared teeth and open claws. It flew joyfully in the valley. A person and a beast fit seamlessly. Chapter 215, 3 Choices. Chapter 215. 3 Choices. When Shi Yin was riding from the valley to the Yang Palace, he was quite surprised. Those palaces were full of Yang warriors. Looking from top, it was like an army of ants. Roughly, maybe there were nearly 10,000 people. Those people were gathered on a huge square. In the middle of that square, there was an ancient array which was surrounded by shining best quality crystals. A surge of natural spirit qi was flowing out from those crystals and injected into that ancient array, which made it look like that ancient array had a rainbow light curled up on it. Many Yang warriors were separated into small teams and surrounded the ancient array. Yang Luo and Mo Duanhuan looked respectful and constantly fiddle with the strange compass on that ancient array. The Yang warriors, under the command from those two, entered into the ancient array by order and stood on it. Then a group of dazzling light flashed, and those warriors who stood on the ancient array disappeared. Transmission array. Just by a glance, Shi Yin realized that the ancient array was a magical array that connected 2 places. Only the blacksmith with royalty rank can make this complex transmission array in the Kiara Sea. Only the powerful family like Yang family can afford to hire those royalty rank blacksmiths and spend an unimaginable amount of materials to build this thing. One after one, the warriors from Yang family entered into the transmission array under the command from Yang Luo and Mo Duanhuan, spending 1 best quality crystal to teleported them into an unknown area. When Shi Yin arrived there with the demon ghost, there was a huge fuss among the people. Under the pressure from the ghost beast, those demon beasts on their own groveled, know the ground, and didn't dare to look into ghost beast eyes. Their body were shivering as if they saw their natural enemy. Yang Lao looked up on the sky and startled. Mo Duanhuin also gently nodded toward Shuryan and seemed like he was surprised with Shuryan's ability. Brat, good, very good, Yang Lao smiled. This ghost beast really has an affinity with you. It already stayed in the Immortal Island for a long time, and there was never anyone who can go near it, and you can tame this unusual demon beast, which means the heavens still care about us, the Yang family. Many Yang warriors showed excitement in their face when they heard Yang Lao's word. Seems like they grasped something from it. What is the situation now? Shuryan came down from the ghost beast and gently patted Ghost Beast. Suddenly the ghost beast, which keeps releasing ferocious and evil atmosphere, quite down, lazily lying on the ground, and didn't continue to show its ferocious side. The warriors from the other families are moving towards Kiara Sea, and soon those people will appear here. Yang Lao's face became gloomy. The news about your great-grandfather, who is trapped under the Demon Seal Formation, has already spread throughout the Endless Sea. After Bo Sun spoke up, no one thinks that your great-grandfather can escape from that Demon Seal Formation. So those who have been afraid of us, the Yang family, caught this golden opportunity to exterminate our Yang family. Yang Lao explained the situation in brief. The Demon King Bo Sun's bone shadow, which appeared in different areas, already indicated that this time Yang Qingdi will definitely die. Many demon dwellers who have entered from the unstable points in space long time ago already frequently contacted the heads from the major families and explained to them the goodwill from Bo Sun and Qi Yan. And they even showed their sincerity by sending many rare goods and materials that only exist in the demon area to those major families. Qi Yan and Bo Sun already spoke up to get along with the Endless Sea by connecting the two worlds and exchanging materials. The proposal from the two Demon King made many people restless, and those magical materials from the demon area also made so that many people could hardly stay still. In the past, the gate of heaven that connected the Endless Sea and the fourth demon area was in the hands of the Yang. Only the Yang family can go through that door to enter the fourth demon area and bring many strange materials that didn't exist in this world. And because of this, the resources from Yang family were extremely tremendous in the Endless Sea. And with this advantage, the Yang family can firmly stand proudly in the Endless Sea. There was nobody that can coveted the materials from the demon area. In the past, the Yang was controlling the gate, and because the powerful Yang family, those people didn't dare to mess and only can exchange that material from the Yang family, which made Yang family acquire many rare treasures. And now, Yang Qingdi was imprisoned. Qi Yan and Bo Sun also gave them a treaty that was difficult to refuse by them, in order to obtain the materials from Demon Area and the wealth that has been accumulated by the Yang family for hundreds of years. Those people finally teamed up and planned to destroy the Yang family and share with the Demon Area. After deciding, those major families will no longer hesitated and started sending experts toward Kiara Sea. That force was very powerful. The evil Wonderland and Xia family, who were in alliance with the Yang family in the past, also suddenly quite down. The Xia family was pretty modest. Xia Xinchuan already spoke up to Yang Lao in advance that the Xia family won't face those forces for Yang family and won't make any move, regardless if their decision was right or wrong. And the evil Wonderland not only didn't help the Yang family, but they also secretly contacted with those forces. Seemed like they were determined to help those people and replace the Yang family in the Endless Sea. In just one night, the Yang family was isolated and became the target of many people. Many ferocious families started to open their bloody mouth, trying to devour the Yang family after they received the message from Bo Sun that Yang Qingdi will definitely die. The Yang family's situation has reached the most dangerous moment. In desperation, Yang Lao began to start the evacuation plan by dividing the wealth that has been accumulated by the Yang family and Yang warriors into small groups and quietly transferring it. You're just in time, Yang Lao frowned. This time we need to evacuate, and now we have 3 evacuation areas. The first one is the Demon Area, the second one is the Underwater Desolate City, and the last is the Chasm Battlefield. You can choose where you want to go. Demon Area, Shi Yan was shocked. How would you guys want to evacuate to demon area? If we enter the demon area this time, then wouldn't we be killed by Bo Sun and Qi Yan? The situation in the demon area is different from what you think. Yang Luo smiled. During the critical time of the family, he still remained calm. In the fourth demon area, there are many regions. Even Bo Sun and Qi Yan can't sense the situation inside it. The demon area is extremely vast, so this kind of magical field is countless. The Yang family has been operating in the demon area for a long time. So we understand some regions even better than the demon dwellers, this time the Yang. Family members that entered the demon area number up to 80%. A long time ago, we built a masking array with the help of the environment in there, so it would be difficult for Bo Sun and Qi Yan to find us. Shi Yan was surprised. At first, he thought that in the fourth demon area, the demon king Bo Sun and Qi Yan, who had the cultivation of the third sky of spirit realm, can easily find out the situation in the demon area. And now, after listening to Yang Lao's explanation, he knew that the magical field in the demon area are so powerful that even the demon king Bo Sun and Qi Yan can do nothing about it. The underwater desolate city is a magical place in the endless sea. The sea warriors are the inhabitants in there, and the sea is their world. If there's a large number of endless sea people entered there, it would cause a huge fuss, and maybe there would be a war with them, but we have some contact with some families in there, so there shouldn't be any problem if we enter into the city. What about the chasm battlefield? What kind of place is that? The chasm battlefield is in the Sky Sea. It said it originally belonged to this world, but don't know why it was split out from this world. The chasm battlefield is very strange. The heaven gate that connects the chasm battlefield is always changing. Every 100 years it would change once. What do you mean? 300 years ago, only the warriors from elementary realm to spirit realm can enter the door. 200 years ago, the heaven gate changed. The spirit realm warriors already can't enter it. 100 years ago, the heaven gate changed again. Even the sky realm warriors can't enter it. And now, even Nirvana realm warriors can't enter the heaven gate. This time, only earth realm warriors and below earth realm warriors can enter it. What? So there is a limit in that gate every 100 years? That's right, Yang Lao nodded. This time we would divide into 3 groups. One would go into the demon area. Next one would go into the underwater desolate city. And the last one will go to the chasm battlefield. With that, we can prevent some damage. After all, if we focus on one area, there's a chance that we could be exterminated. So by dividing into 3 groups, we can increase the chance of blood retention. I will go to the chasm battlefield. Yang Mu sneered. I won't only enter the chasm battlefield, but also I will spread out the information, telling those people that I am inside it. This time the Nirvana realm warriors can enter it, and for those major families who want to exterminate us, they would have to send their warriors below Nirvana realm to kill me. Humph! I will wait inside the chasm battlefield, and those who dare to come to kill me, I will kill them all. I also will go to the chasm battlefield, Shi Yan nodded lightly. I think it will be more interesting there. The warriors above Earth Realm can't enter the chasm battlefield. This means that the experts that will be sent by those families at most would only be in the third sky of Earth Realm. Shi Yan believes that with his power, he can face the Earth Realm warriors, which means the chasm battlefield is the most suitable place for him, which may also be the most secure place, and it can also increase his strength by killing those warriors from other families. Ha ha ha! Good one! Xiao Yan Ziangmu laughed. After we arrive there, I would want to see how many people dare to come to kill us. The more they are, the better it will be, so I can kill as many as I want. The chasm battlefield is very mysterious. It's said that it was the battlefield of the mighty warriors from the ancient times. Inside it, there are many barriers and forbidden area, and also there are some magical treasures and martial skills that are left from the ancient times. If you guys want to enter it, not only you to be careful of those guys who want to kill you, but also the forbidden area and dangerous array inside the chasm battlefield. Yang Luo frowned, said, inside it, there is a legendary magical treasure that can release Master from the Demon Seal formation. Emo Duanhuan, who has been silent, suddenly spoke up and stared at Shi Yan as if he was thinking about something. Yan Lao looked startled and quite weird. and was also staring at Shi Yan. What? Is there a connection between it and Xiao Yanzi? Yang Mu also exclaimed. Yang Luo and Mo Duanhuan nodded. Translated by Yi. Chapter 216 Skybreaking Shuttle. Chapter 216 Skybreaking Shuttle. Yang warriors entered the transfer formation one by one and disappeared after a bunch of dazzling light. Beside the transfer formation, there was a crowd of thousands of warriors, whose realms varied, but they all looked in high spirits. They were quite confident. Yang Lao and Mo Duanhuan stared at Shi Yan with meaningful eyes. Pointing at himself, Shi Yan was rather confused. To do with me? There are many rare secret treasures of elite experts from the ancient times on the chasm battlefield. Mo Duanhuan nodded. In the endless sea, many experts have gone to the chasm battlefield and never came back. They just disappeared. Among them, there was one called Tai Long, a very famous sacred realm blacksmith. Thousands of years ago, his skill was known across the endless sea, and his works were invaluable. He died on the battlefield. Shi Yan frowned. I don't know. Yang Lao replied, but he never appeared in the endless sea later on. That's an extremely talented blacksmith, whose most famous secret treasure was Skybreaking Shuttle, which was a sacred realm secret treasure, and it could break any barriers in the space and tear any pattern. With the Skybreaking Shuttle, Tai Long could enter and shuttle through any world without the help of gates of heavens. Nothing could trap him. You mean as long as you master the Skybreaking Shuttle, you can take Great-Grandpa out of the Demon Seal formation? Shi Yan began to understand. If the legend about the Skybreaking Shuttle is true, then it is capable of that. Mo Duanhuan assured. Really? Yang Mu didn't know it either, as he asked in surprise. If that secret treasure is truly so magic, why didn't Tai Long use it to get out of the chasm battlefield? Don't they say that chasm battlefield is full of barriers? With the secret treasure, can't he go anywhere he wants on the chasm battlefield? It is said that Tai Long died on the chasm battlefield due to a sky flame. He intended to tame the sky flame, but was counter-devoured by it. Mo Duanhuan paused and continued. Although Tai Long was a sacred realm blacksmith, his martial level was merely in the third sky of Sky Realm, which was not enough to tame the sky flame. What's it to do with Xiao Yan then? Yang Mu asked again. Shi Yan got confused. Yeah, what's it to do with me? The two sky flames could perceive each other when they are in the same area. Mo Duanhuan explained. The flames are mysterious, some can coexist, and some would fight. Shi Yan, when you go into the chasm battlefield, you may perceive the position of the sky flame, and with the help of ice-cold flame, you may be able to get the secret treasure, Skybreaking Shuttle. Got it. Shi Yan nodded with a smile. This time on the chasm battlefield, I will communicate with the ice-cold flame, and will mainly look for Tai Long's Skybreaking Shuttle. Be careful. Don't push yourself too hard. When you perceive the sky flame's position, let Yang Mu search for the Skybreaking Shuttle. Or if the sky flame discovers the ice-cold flame in you, it may attack you. Understand? Mo Duanhuan said. I know what to do. Well, wait for a moment. You can do it together in a couple of days when Yang Ku and Yang Shui come. 3 days later, Yang Ku, Yang Shui, and Li Finger came back together to the Immortal Island. Yang Ku and Yang Shui were both direct descendants of the Yang family, and were both at the second sky of Earth Realm. Li Finger was at the first sky of Earth Realm, the daughter of one of the Shura kings, Li Mu. Yang Mu, Yang Ku, Yang Shui, Li Finger, Shi Yan. You 5 each lead a group of 10 Earth Realm warriors. You together enter the chasm battlefield and stay there quietly for 3 years. Yang Lao ordered when everybody was there. Shi Yan, Yang Mu, and others nodded together. Shi Yan is merely at Disaster Realm and is inexperienced. Is it okay that he leads a group? Li Finger frowned. looking at Shi Yan with strange eyes. You sure you can manage it? Li Feng'er was Shura King Li Mu's single daughter, who was at the first sky of Earth realm. In the Yang family, she was treated as Yang Mu and alike, getting the best training materials. She looked pretty. Having fought everywhere for the Yang family, she was considered important, and she herself regarded the immortal island as her home. As one of the 3 Shura kings, Li Mu took her every time he went for a battle. Although she was young, her hands were covered with blood of many people. She had met with all sorts of dangers, and she had been to the chasm battlefield, so she knew how dangerous it was there. She was worried that the 10 warriors would die due to wrong decisions Shi Yan would make. True. Yang Shui nodded. Xiao Yan, are you sure you can take care of 10 people? Yang Shui was Shi Yan's so-called second sister. It's her first time to meet Shi Yan too. Knowing little about him, she also doubted that Disaster Realm Shi Yan could lead 10 Earth Realm warriors. Shi Yan before lived in rural areas, so she guessed he lacked experience of leading others. Even in the Yang family, Earth Realm warriors were precious. The 10 warriors they carefully picked were all potential candidates for Nirvana Realm. For the interest of the Yang family, she didn't think it was a good idea for Shi Yan to lead the team. I will give it a try. Shi Yan gave a brief smile. I'm not that experienced, so I won't separate from you on the chasm battlefield. The situation on the chasm battlefield is quite complicated. Li Feng'er shook her head and explained, some barriers can't be detected by anyone. Although we will be together, if someone touches the barrier, we will be separated. If that happened, we can't give you the right suggestion. Shi Yan looked to Yang Lao. Never mind. Yang Lao smiled to a warrior at the second sky of Earth Realm. Jiang Huchuan, follow Shi Yan. I believe it will be fine if you are with him. Jiang Huchuan nodded with a smile and said to Shi Yan, Don't worry, young Master Yan. I will be after you. Yang Lao appoint Jiang Huchuan. So Li Feng'er and Yang Shui got reassured and smiled. It will be fine if Uncle Jiang is there. Ha ha! Uncle Jiang is the best disciple of Grandpa and Yang Mu said. Shaoen was a minister of the Yang family at the first sky of Sky Realm. He was good at breaking barriers, and so was his disciple Jiang Huchuan. Seeing Jiang Huchuan was in his team, Shi Yan thought about something. So at crucial points, it was Jiang Huchuan who played the role of decision-maker. It was rather put this way, that the 10 warriors were sent to protect Shi Yan. Demon Beast can't go inside the chasm battlefield. Remember, after you arrive at the Gate of Heaven in the Sky Sea area, arrange for the Demon Beast first. In the Demon Mountain nearby, there are all sorts of Demon Beasts, including level 8 Demon Beasts. You can place your Demon Beast in the Demon Mountain. Yang Lao told them some details. Sure, Yan listened quietly. 1 hour later, Yang Lao said, Well, I'll get into the transfer formation with your Demon Beasts. I will send you to the Sky Sea. The transfer formation there is just 20,000 miles to the Gate of Heaven toward the chasm battlefield. You can get there in 3 days. Shi Yan patted on the demon ghost and stood inside the transfer formation obediently. The demon ghost growled and glanced once at the double-headed dragon among the transfer formation, including Yang Mu. Inside the formation, Yang Mu, Yang Ku, Yang Shui's double-headed dragon, and Li Feng'er's cyan bloodbat all withdrew as they saw the demon ghost enter. The demon ghost was 10 meters long, while the double-headed dragon and the cyan bloodbat were only 5 to 6 meters. The demon ghost was larger with stronger flame. At level 6, the demon ghost looked stronger than the double-headed dragon and the cyan bloodbat. Be careful about the people from the Penglai Divine Land. Before he triggered the transfer formation, Yang Lao reminded, the Martial Spirit Palace never cared about the disputes in the Endless Sea and didn't take actions to the Yang family this time. But the Penglai Divine Land took action. Although our transfer formation in the Sky Sea is hidden well, when so many of you appear, they will definitely notice it. So be careful before you enter the gate of heaven. Got it? Yang Mu bursted into laughter. It's better that they know. If they knew it, other experts must also know. I guess they won't stay still as they want to kill us. I believe you will encounter some pursuers in the chasm battlefield, which is good for you. Humph. Yang Ku gave a grim smile. I heard 7 people from the young generation are on the list of the power rankings. I hope they will be in the chasm battlefield too. The power rankings. Shi Yan was confused. The rankings of the ability of young experts in the endless sea. There are 18 of them in all on the power rankings, who are the top experts in the endless sea and will become leaders in the future. Li Feng'er explained. How many of us are on the list? Shi Yan asked. Yang Mu, Yang Zhou, and Yang Ku are all on it. Li Feng'er grinned and glanced at Yang Ku, but Yang Ku is on the bottom, the 18th of the power rankings. Haha. Shi Yan put on a solemn look. Ah. Chapter 217, The Power Rankings. Chapter 217, The Power Rankings. At the center of an isolated island in the sky sea, the sea water gave out hustling sound. The blue sea water rippled away while silver light spots skimmed over. Wah-la-la! After a huge stir in the water, a huge monster appeared from it. 5 demon beasts flew out of the sea and landed on a nearby island. Young warriors swam out of the seawater and moved toward the island. Under the blue sky and white clouds, Shi Yan looked around, secretly releasing his consciousness to detect anything unusual in the surroundings. There was no sign of life wherever the consciousness passed. No danger here, Shi Yan was assured. The transfer formation of the Yang family here was hidden. There were many isolated islands under the seawater, and the transfer formation was under one of them. It could be only seen from deep in the sea. Standing on the isolated island, Shi Yan detected with his consciousness. After being assured that there was no danger, he stood beside the demon ghost. Xiaoyan, how about your group? Do you want to ride our demon beasts? Yang Mu raised his voice to ask. There were in all 55 people and 5 demon beasts, who were divided into 5 groups. Yang Mu and others, double-headed dragons, could carry 12 people. The warriors had all mounted on the demon beasts now. Shi Yan's 10 warriors just watched the demon ghost in fear and didn't dare approach. The demon ghost was 10 meters long, and it would be more comfortable to sit on it. But the demon ghost was so grumpy, and its back was covered with thorns, so those warriors didn't dare to get close to it. Never mind. Shi Yan smiled, pressed on the demon ghost's neck, and quietly communicated with the demon ghost. Since the demon ghost was tamed by Shi Yan in the Immortal Valley, it regarded Shi Yan as his companion. So once Shi Yan sent his will to the demon ghost, the latter would do as told obediently. As it received the message, it was unwilling, but still the demon ghost withdrew its thorns on the back into its body. It's okay now. Shi Yan beamed at Jiang Huchuan and turned to the warriors. All of you come up now. Jiang Huchuan took in a deep breath. While observing the demon ghost, he approached it. After he found the demon, ghost didn't mean to hurt him. He mounted on the demon ghost. Let's go. Yang Mu yelled. His double-headed dragon flew out into the sky like a wind. Yang Ku and Yang Shui's double-headed dragon followed closely. Li Feng'er's cyan magic bat flew a little slower. Hoo-hoo! The demon ghost dashed out like a sword into the sky and surpassed the bat at once. Then Yang Mu, Yang Ku, and Yang Shui's double-headed dragons and went ahead of the line. Your demon beast is really bossy. It wants to be the first. Yang Mu praised. It is said these demon beasts could evolve endlessly. Can't imagine how powerful it would be when it reaches level 8 and 9. How did you tame this demon beast? Li Feng'er was confused. After this demon beast was taken back to the Immortal Island, Many demon beasts on the island went quiet. It swallows level 2 and level 3 demon beasts every day. How does he obey you, a disaster realm warrior? Shi Yan grinned. Luck. You are so lucky, Li Fenger admired. Be careful. The Sky Sea belongs to the Penglai Divine Land. There must be warriors from the Penglai Divine Land on the nearby islands. We will be spotted easily if we fly in the sky. Yang Shui frowned. We don't get along well with the Penglai Divine Land. Now that they had taken action, they won't spare us. They will attack us as soon as they see us. Yang Mu also nodded. Panja from the Penglai Divine Land is at the 3rd sky of Earth Realm. Ranked 5th on the power ranks, a little weaker than me. We have to be careful if we meet him. I have dealt with him before. He is great, capable of all sorts of martial skills. Sure, Yan also went on alert. From Yang Mu and the group, he got to know about the ranks well. Only young warriors under 30 in the Endless Sea could be included into the list. Only 4 young people in the Kiara Sea were listed on the ranks, who were Yang Mu, Yang Zhou, Yang Ku, and Xie Kuei, while none of the Xia family was on the ranks. Yang Mu ranked 4th, Yang Zhou 12th, Yang Ku 18th, while Xie Kuei from the Evil Wonderland was the 10th. The 18 young experts on the ranks were all extraordinary with huge potential. They were the future leaders of the Endless Sea. 3 Yang family members were on the power rankings, which showed how powerful the Yang family was. The demon ghost dashed forward toward the Gourd Island, where the Gate of Heaven was, followed by the double-headed dragon and the cyan magic bat. Enemies here. As they went to an unknown island, Shi Yan softly patted the demon ghost and slowed it down. Yang Mu was stunned. Xiao Yan, you can detect the enemies. Yes. Shi Yan nodded. They are on the island in front of us. Dozens of them, including Nirvana realm experts. Xiao Yan, are you sure? Yang Shui was surprised. We can count on him. Yang Mu answered and explained. When on the Blackstone Island, Xiao Yan could perceive the demon dweller's smell with the secret treasure. He must be detecting with it now. He didn't know that this time Shi Yan had refined the sea of consciousness and obtained more acute sense. Do we need to avoid them? Yang Shui frowned. There are Nirvana realm warriors. Tough. We should get into the chasm battlefield first and wait for the pursuers to come. We can't avoid them. Yang Mu shook his head. Since there are Nirvana realm warriors, they must have detected us with their consciousness sea. We have proceeded here for one day. They must have known it. Exactly, we can't avoid them. They are already here. Shi Yan nodded too. We can't know who they are. Yang Mu pondered. Our 5 demon beasts are at level 6. If there is only 1 or 2 warriors, we don't need to be nervous. But it's tough if they have too many Nirvana realm warriors. Xiao Yan, can you detect how many Nirvana realm warriors there are? 3. 3? Then it's fine. Hoo. In the strong wind, a silver triangled ship was flying rapidly in the sky, with several human figures on it. Silver Horn ship. Yang Mu sneered. They are from the Penglai Divine Land. The Silver Horn ship could fly in the sky and sail on the sea. Only important people can have it. In the Penglai Divine Land, even Nirvana realm warriors are not allowed to use the Silver Horn ship. Pan, she must be there. Brother Yang Mu, long time no see, hee. Loud laughter suddenly came from the Silver Horn ship, as a handsome young man stood in the front with a feathered fan in his hand. Shi Yan sat up straight on the demon ghost. After deeply looking in that direction for a while, his face became gloomy. Gu Jianga, from the Gu family, and divine girl Chu Yanqing were also standing on the ship. On the Monroe Island, she nearly killed him. Now, they met here again. After being redeemed, Gu Jianga was still alive. Sure, yeah. From dozens of meters away came Gu Jianga's cold sound. Here you are. Yes, here we are. Shi Yan looked at Gu Jianga coldly. I can't believe you are still alive. Very good. Then I can kill you in person. You are sure, Yen? Don't bullshit. I can kill you at once. Beside Gu Jianga, a pretty young girl in a green dress, was quite arrogant. Gu Linglong, the second sky of Earth Realm, ranked 8th, much stronger than Gu Jianga. Li Fenger introduced softly. I don't believe it. Shi Yan looked unconcerned as he looked over to Gu Linglong. Gal, you haven't even grown up. Stop boasting. You are seeking your own death. Gu Linglong sneered with anger in her eyes. A silver long sword flew out from her sleeve and shot toward Shi Yan as lightning. Shi Yan frowned, sitting still on the demon ghost without taking action. Chi chi chi. The demon ghost breathed green dark chi, which was like a green cloud gushing to the silver sword. The sword stabbed into the green clouds and was imprisoned. It couldn't move a bit. Even the sword soul inside it was blown away by the dark chi. Dark chi. Those people on the silver-horned ship became anxious, gazing at the demon ghost in fear as they cried out, Demon beast from the dark world. Pan Zhe withdrew his smile. When did you Yang family get connected to the dark world? The portals are all one-sided. Their demon beasts and dwellers can't enter our world. How did you get this dark world, demon beast? Stop the F*** bullshit. Yang Mu was impatient. Pan Zhe, do you want to fight? Chapter 218. The demon ghost showed its viciousness. Chapter 218. The demon ghost shows its viciousness. Pan Zhe, do you dare fight with me? Yang Mu, sitting on the double-headed dragon, gazed afar at Pan Zhe on the silver-horned ship and yelled. The silver-huge sword flew out and hovered on Yang Mu's head, letting out 10-meter-long light, which was orientated at Pan Zhe directly. On the silver-horned ship, Pan Zhe smiled with the fan in his hand. Yang Mu, we came to destroy your Yang family, not to waste our time. You chickened, don't you? Yang Mu laughed. Pan Zhe, Pan Zhe, I know you are a coward. Pan Zhe didn't appear irritated, but shook his head with a smile, then turned to the warriors beside him. Don't waste time. Take them. Divine Sun is correct. Wei Qing, the Nirvana realm warrior from the Penglai divine land, nodded. We can't settle down if the Yang family is not destroyed. They often came to the sky, sea to make trouble. They deserve it. Kill. Pan Zhe waved his hand. Boom, boom, boom. Huge thunders suddenly came from the silver-horned ship, while a bunch of spiral golden light shot out towards Shi Yan and Yang Mu. Spiral divine light. Yang Mu yelled, separate. Shi Yan's expression changed a bit as he hurried to send a message to the demon ghost to avoid the light. The demon ghost bellowed with a burst of evil energy. Green dark chi and black demon chi gushed out from its body and formed a wave, striking directly to the spiral divine light. Shi Yan. Yang Mu urged the demon beast to leave, but seeing Shi Yan was about to be hit, he screamed. The spiral divine light is condensed by 300 profound crystals. It is unbreakable. Yang Mu's scream suddenly stopped. Chi chi chi. The dark chi and demon chi from the demon ghost congealed and formed a strange shield. While the spiral divine light hit on it, the latter was controlled. Like a spiral, the light span quickly, getting a little stronger every time it span. In the endless sea, the spiral divine light generated by the silver-horned ship could easily take a Nirvana realm warrior's life. However, this strike was stopped by the shield formed by the demon ghost. Dark chi. Demon chi. The warriors, standing on the silver-horned ship, couldn't help but scream. Pan Zhe looked gloomy, as he couldn't believe what he had seen. After a while he said, What demon beast is it? Why can it trigger dark chi? Even the demon chi from the demon area. What did you do? How did you make this hybrid creature? New generation experts, as Gu Linglong and Chu Yanqing, were surprised by the demon ghost. Yang Mu, Yang Shui, and Li Feng'er were also shocked by the power of the demon ghost. Shoo, shoo, shoo! From the shield formed by the demon ghost with dark qi and demon qi, suddenly came sharp whistles along with it. Evil energy shot toward the silver horn ship like arrows. Dense evil energy poured out like rain of arrows. Pan Zhe, Chu Yanqing, and the fellow warriors panicked to fight back. Shi Yan sat on the demon ghost, smiled coldly. The demon ghost was a hybrid of the ghost from the dark world and the dragon from the demon area, and was an extremely vicious creature. Although the demon ghost was merely at level 6, its evil energy was much stronger than normal level 6 demon beasts. Endless evil energy shot to the silver horn ship, and without an order, the demon ghost suddenly bellowed and struck towards the silver horn ship. The spiral divine light couldn't defend against the demon ghost at all, as it was broken apart by the demon ghost and became golden light spots until they disappeared. Kill! Seeing the demon ghost began to attack, Yang Mu laughed. Xiaoyan, here we are. You are really lucky. Haha. Yang Ku, Yang Shui, Li Feng'er, and the group also drove their double-headed dragons, cyan magic bats, to fly over the golden spots and land on the silver horn ship. Bang! The demon ghost's 10-meter-long body landed on the silver horn ship first, while the ship could hardly bear the demon ghost as it shook greatly. Bad. Pan Zhe's expression changed. Wei Qing, quickly stable the ship. This warrior from the Penglai divine land rushed into the cabin. In an instant, a strong energy wave came from inside the ship, and the silver-horned ship went stable at once. Shi Yan, I want to kill you. Gu Jianga whistled as a dragon-killing sword with a fire tail flew out from his back toward Shi Yan. Shi Yan was calm as he threw out a green moonstone towards that sword. The green moonstone became a cold green light after striking on the dragon-killing sword. Its immediately cold energy put off the fire at once. Gu Jianga panicked. As he stood the closest to the dragon-killing sword, he was covered by 30 ice light shots. Feeling freezing cold, his profound qi also slowed down. Seal of death! Shi Yan yelled in his mind and stretched out his left hand, while 7 handprints exploded towards Gu Jianga with the power of death. Gu Jianga was frightened, though they were both at the second sky of Disaster Realm. Shi Yan's seal of death was overwhelming to him. He could hardly defend against it. Thus, he got close to Gu Linglong to avoid it. Useless. Gu Linglong sneered, as 2 magical swords twisted and flew out like 2 mud-fish. Bang bang. The seal of death struck on the Yin swords, but was diverted by it. Gu Linglong's long eyebrows went high. She had the martial spirit of the heart of magical sword, so she could perceive that the sword soul was polluted by the seal. Bastard, what evil martial skill is that? Gu Linglong turned serious, and she shouted madly, You damaged my sword soul! I won't let you go. At once, a sword of wind character broke the sky and appeared in front of Shi Yan. The sword could hide itself, so Shi Yan didn't even notice it. When he first saw the sword, it was already at his face. Huh. The demon ghost let out dirty air and spitted it on the sword. The sword at once changed its direction and flew toward Chu Yanqing. Chu Yanqing, who was fighting against Yang Shui and Yang Ku, was frightened, so she retreated away to avoid the sword. She reproached coldly, Gu Linglong, what the hell are you doing? Accident. Gu Linglong stuck out her tongue and withdrew the sword. She went angrier. You bastard! What a shame! You used your demon beast. Fight with me. I can kill you at once. Shi Yan didn't move, but stayed on the demon ghost, watching what's happening on the silver horn ship. The 5 groups of yang warriors had got down from the demon beasts, which were standing on the silver-horned ship with warriors from the Penglai divine land, the Heaven Lake sacred land, and the Gu family. Yang Mu's demon beast gazed at 2 Nirvana warriors, so they couldn't make a move. Yang Mu, Yang Shui, Yang Ku, and Li Feng'er performed their best martial skills against Pan Zhe and Chu Yanqing. Apart from Pan Zhe, Chu Yanqing, Gu Jianga, Gu Linglong, there were still 30-some warriors on the silver-horned ship. Their realms varied. Some were at the 3rd sky of Earth Realm, while some were at Disaster Realm. They were in a fierce war. Without responding to Gu Linglong, Shi Yan observed the ship and secretly generated the gravitational field. The gravitational field was invisible, as warriors under Nirvana Realm couldn't even detect it. Shi Yan was clear-minded, as he got the timing to control those warriors with his gravitational field. In the fierce battle, one's life was determined in 1 or 2 seconds. As the gravitational field suddenly generated, those enemy warriors couldn't even use the slightest energy to fight back. The Yang warrior quickly took the opportunity to slaughter them. Shi Yan sat up straight on the demon ghost, while secretly gathering the profound qi from the dead warriors. The battle on the ship was messed up by the gravitational field, while the Yang family got the upper hand and started slaughtering. Looking back at those enemy warriors, who were now in great confusion about the situation, while they could hardly fight. That bastard is playing a trick. Coming out from the cabin, Wei Qing realized something. After detecting by his consciousness, he shouted at Shi Yan. Shi Yan suddenly became their mutual target. Slaughtering God. Chapter 219. So lame. Chapter 219. So lame. Sponsored by Terence Mykovsky. Wei Qing came out from the silver-horned ship. Then he released soul consciousness of the Nirvana realm. Just feeling for a moment, he found that there were a lot of strange energy waves controlled by Shi Yan, which imprisoned the warriors of the Penglai divine land, the Heaven Lake divine land, and the Gu family, so they could be killed by the Yang family easily. Shi Yan was the cause of this one-sided situation. When Wei Qing found the strange energy, he yelled. It made everyone focusing their gaze on Shi Yan. Pan Zhe, Chu Yanqing, Gu Linglong, these young superiors, stared at Shi Yan immediately. The 3 Nirvana Realm warriors dropped the double-headed dragon and cyan magic bat immediately and got close to the demon ghost. The 3 old warriors used their power together and surrounded the demon ghost from 3 directions. Damn it! Stop! Gu Linglong yelled and took a deep breath. There were 7 light rays of different colors coming towards Shi Yan in different directions. The 7 rays of light were 7 swords of Gu Linglong. The 7 swords were arranged in a sword array. Light interweave formed a network and flied down towards Shi Yan. The sword-light mixed energy fluctuations were triggered under Gu Linglong's control, carrying an extremely sharp shock wave. Shi Yan's face changed a little. Gu Linglong was at the 2nd sky of Earth Realm. Every one of her 7 swords were very powerful. The power of the sword array was shocking that even Nirvana warriors could not resist it. He didn't hesitate, and in a moment he released the dark light shield and the petrification martial spirit. Shi Yan was sitting on the demon ghost, gathering negative power again. He instantly hit the seal of life and death as they intervened together. He used his strongest move to fight against the 7 swords array. The seal of life and death overlapped. There were 7 huge handprints in a row like leaf fans. A strange energy came out of the seal of life and death suddenly. Boom! 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 A burst of energy roars suddenly exploded in the sky with dazzling light like beautiful fireworks. The seal of life and death came into the swords array. The fluctuations from it contained the mixed power of life and death. The 7 swords arrays, light dimmed down abruptly. It was disorganized under the bombardment of the seal of life and death. Gu Linglong's beautiful face turned pale and her body shook. From the sword's array, 7 attributes of different energy fluctuations were releasing. They followed Shi Yan's life fluctuations and attacked him. Sitting on the demon ghost, Shi Yan was attacked by the sword array. As his dark light shield was broken, his body was thrown out from the demon ghost. Puff! Shi Yan sprayed a mouth of blood. His organs seemed to be moved. He was in extreme pain. Using 3rd stage of petrification martial spirit, he prevented the 7 swords' force, so that his body was safe and secure. But the force penetrated in Shi Yan's body and began to destroy his body. His face turned extremely white. Shi Yan quickly released the negative power in his meridians to resist the power of the 7 swords into his body. Negative power, profound qi defense. Shi Yan hurried to remove the destruction power from his body. At the same time, a hot inflammatory force also came out from the blood vein ring and gushed into his tendons to help him remove the power of the sword. This was fire power of the earth core fire of thousands of years. 3 kinds of strange power flowed along Shi Yan's tendons. In a very short period of time, the power of the 7 swords was consumed. Colorful light emerged from Shi Yan's skin. At first glance, he seemed to be a strange light source, and the energy fluctuations in his body were in chaos. Who? Lightly breathing, Shi Yan had a poker face. Then he wiped off the blood on his mouth. Taking a quick leap, Shi Yan flew onto the back of Demon Ghost. He took an exquisite sight at Gu Linglong and said, "So lame." Gu Linglong's beautiful eyes showed a cold light and her body shook slightly, gritting her teeth. As the 7 sword blew, she believed that only Yang Mu and Yang Zhou could resist it among the young superiors of the Yang family. Sure, Yan was a warrior of Disaster Realm. She expected that Shi Yan should be killed instantly. However, Shi Yan's martial skill intercepted it. The impact of 7 swords had stormed Shi Yan's body, but was consumed by him. It was so strange that it was utterly beyond Gu Linglong's expectation. Sure, Yan was sitting on the demon ghost again. It made her feel unfathomable. When Gu Linglong looked at Shi Yan again, she had no contempt. Howl! The demon ghost roared. The green eyes on its ferocious face emits faint green light instantly. Different lights shoot towards Wei Qing's 3 Nirvana Realm warriors. Due to the strange green light, the 3 men's sea of consciousness became a mess, so they could not form effective attack anymore. The demon ghost growled. Its huge body, angrily, landed on the ship. It ripped one after another warrior from the Penglai divine land into pieces. There was misty blood fog filling the air around the demon ghost. As more evil energy gathered in the bloody mist, it became more and more intense. With the demon ghost as a center, the bloody mist spread it out like a storm. Wherever the mist of blood swept, all people retreated. Even Wei Qing's 3 warriors of Nirvana realms stayed away. Sure, Yan also became aware of the violent anger of the demon ghost. Because Shi Yan was attacked by Gu Linglong, the demon beast seemed to be irritated. It was crazy to arouse its bloodthirsty temper. The demon ghost ran wild on the silver-horned ship. Its green eyes shot out green faint light. It was just a demon ghost of level 6. But at this moment, it erupted like a level 7 monster beast. Pan Zhe, Chu Yanqing, Gu Linglong, and Gu Jianga were all shocked by the evil fierceness of the demon ghost. They dared not to get close to the demon ghost and stayed away. Yang Mu, Li Feng'er, and other warriors of the Yang family were about to get close to Shi Yan, but as they saw the demon ghost suddenly go mad, they stepped aside. At that time, the silver-horned ship became a stage for the demon ghost to kill. It received Shi Yan's will and tore the warriors from the Penglai Divine Land and the Heaven Lake Divine Land to shreds. There were blood and remains scattered everywhere on the silver-horned ship. Sitting on the demon ghost, Shi Yan was enjoying the power of those dead bodies. His meridians started to get hurt. A variety of negative emotions were flowing into Shi Yan's mind. He could barely manage his consciousness. Evil forces of fear, bloodthirstiness, resentment, and negative energy exploded and formed a white light mist around Shi Yan's body and dissipated quietly. Gu Jianga wanted to sneak attack Shi Yan, but he was careless and was instantly surrounded by the white mist formed from Shi Yan's negative emotions. Just in a moment, Gu Jianga suddenly lost his mind. He was like a prisoner which had been trapped for hundreds of years and moved to kill Gu Linglong. Gu Jianga became crazy. "You are crazy!" Gu Linglong got a bad feeling and wanted to move, but she found that there was endless resentment in Gu Jianga. Gu Linglong immediately realized that he really became crazy. Shi Yan was also shocked after he found that the waves of the negative emotions could make people mad and even make them kill their companions. Shi Yan immediately realized that this was an extremely uncommon magic ability. He immediately wrapped the negative emotion mist with his soul consciousness and covered it onto the warriors of the Penglai Divine Land and Heaven, Lake Divine Land. As expected, once covered by the white mist, those warriors immediately became delirious and bloodthirsty and began to kill each other. What black magic! Wei Qing screamed when he saw his men lose their mind and killed each other. All of a sudden he felt helpless. Howl! The demon ghost jumped towards Wei Qing, and there was a strong dark energy wave flowing from him. Wei Qing's face changed. He didn't care about his men and jumped off the Silverhorn ship while shouting "Go!" The warriors on the Silverhorn ship also saw something was wrong. They immediately followed Wei Qing and jumped into the sea. Below them was the endless ocean. These people knew that it will be fine to fall into the sea, so they just jumped into the sea. "Shi Yan, remember, I will kill you." Gu Linglong stared at him bitterly, and then caught the delirious Gu Jianga and went into the sea, drawing a beautiful line. Only 3 seconds. The survived warriors all jumped into the ocean. "Let's go." Shi Yan patted the demon ghost lightly and stopped the demon ghost from going after them. He said to Yang Mu, "Pan Zhe, they are just a single group, but there are other warriors coming here. They are stronger than Pan Zhe, including 5 Nirvana Realm warriors." Yang Mu's expression changed, and he nodded, showing his understanding. After Yang Mu called them, the warriors of the Yang family on the ship boarded onto the demon ghost, the double-headed dragon, and the cyan magic bat. Then they flew away from the ship like a wind. Chapter 220. There is no need to be so direct, right? Chapter 220. There is no need to be so direct, right? A blue sky in the endless sea. The warm wind was slowly blowing under the blue sky. 5 demon beasts were soaring in the sky. On the demon beasts, the Yang warriors were sitting in high spirits and laughing. The victory in the war on half-day before was very glorious. In the clash of 3 big forces in the endless sea, they slaughtered 20 warriors with the same realm as them, forcing the warriors from those 3 big forces to jump into the sea to escape. At this war, Shi Yan, who only had the cultivation of disaster realm, played a decisive role. Yang Shui, Li Feng'er, and the others who despised Shi Yan at first, now when they looked at him, there was some splendor in their eyes, as if they re-recognized Shi Yan. Li Feng'er, who had always been standoffish, also smiled with joy and showed an interest toward Shi Yan. Li Feng'er had a tall posture and very pretty, and usually she was quite arrogant. Because of her outstanding strength, she received the same treatment as Yang Mu and the others in the Yang family. In the entire Kiara Sea, she was also very famous. This time her smile made many Yang family warriors to secretly peek at her. "I didn't expect that you're this good." Li Feng'er smiled sweetly at first. "I think that the head made a fuss by using 3 drops of immortal blood to calculate your life and death, and now I know that the head has a great foresight. I think the head knew you're extraordinary, so he was willing to do that. At that time, in the Immortal Islands, after Emo Duanhuin told Yang Qingdi about the accident that occurred with Shiryan in Menluo Island, Yang Qingdi only hesitated a bit, and then he decided to use 3 drops of immortal blood to determine Shiryan's life and death. At that time, many people thought that Yang Qingdi was too concerned with Shiryan. Shiryan, who only had the cultivation of Disaster Realm, wasn't worth for him to use 3 drops of immortal blood. Li Feng'er was also one of them. After she knew this thing, she even secretly complained to her father that Shiryan was burdensome. He even hasn't came to Yang family, but already made Yang Qingdi spent 3 drops of immortal blood. And after meeting Shiryan at Immortal Island, she saw there wasn't anything special in Shiryan. She even believed that the reason that Shiryan can tame the demon ghost was with the help from Yang Qingdi, so that he can easily tame the demon ghost. She hadn't had any deep impression on Shiryan, and felt that Shiryan was only a very normal warrior on Yang family and wasn't worthy of much attention. Until this war, the moment when Shiryan used gravitational field to reverse the situation and didn't suffer any damage from the 7 swords of Gulinglong. Who is in the power rankings, she started to change her view and finally realized that Yang Qingdi was right, and the 3 drops of immortal blood that he used to determine Shiryan's life and death weren't wasted. Sitting on the demon ghost, Shiryan frowned and slightly glimpsed at Li Feng'er, but didn't speak anything. He was focusing his mind on sensing the changes inside his meridian. On the silver-horned ship, the profound chi from those dead warriors of the 3 big forces was quietly absorbed by him. After getting the profound chi, the mysterious martial spirit started to purify the chi. In the purification process, many negative emotions continued to emerge and affected his consciousness. He was about to lose control. This time his meridian absorbed too much power. At this moment his meridian was purifying the profound chi, and the 720 acupuncture points in his body felt like they were burning. Now he only focused on the changes in his meridian and can't be distracted by other things. Hey! Li Feng'er appeared, slightly upset. Why you are so cold? I know that you have some skill. But if a beauty was talking with you, you should respond happily, right? Humph. In this Kiara Sea, there are many people who want to speak with me, but I didn't care at all. I take the initiative to talk to, but your attitude is like this. You are really arrogant, aren't you? Xiao Yanzi, Feng'er is one of the 4 golden flowers in our Kiara Sea. How can you behave like this when there is a beauty flirting with you? Yang Mu smiled. There are 4 golden flowers in the Kiara Sea. Yang Mu already told Shiryan when they met the first time. In the 4 golden flowers, Xia Xinyan ranked first. The second one was He Qing Man. The third was Yang Shui, and Li Feng'er was the 4th. Although Li Feng'er was the last, but can be famed as one of the 4 golden flowers in the Kiara Sea, was definitely true, because she was indeed a very eye-catching beauty. Li Feng'er has tall posture and slender legs, and her snake-like waist was the area that made many people aroused. Snake-like waist, Shiryan suddenly remembered that there was a simplest way to resolve the backlash when the mysterious martial spirit was purifying the profound chi. The desire that can't be restrained suddenly emerged in his heart. He tried to not think, but found that desire was becoming more and more strong. At the same time, his eyes were different from when he looked at Li Feng'er before. Now it became gradually filled with lust and desire. What do you want to do? Li Feng'er blushed. She couldn't withstand the look from Shiryan, and fiercely stared at Shiryan, cursed. At first, I think you are pretty good, but it turns out that you are just a pervert. Yang Shui also frowned. That look in Shiryan's eyes and the desire in it was extremely obvious. As long as one was adult, then the special meaning from those eyes can be seen. Xiao Yanzi, there is no need to be so direct, right? Yang Mu laughed, although we all have the same evil thoughts on Feng'er, but no one dared to show it clearly. You are really a special one. Brother Yang, you also aren't a good person. Li Feng'er stared at Yang Mu. Brother, bind me. Shi Yan suddenly shouted. It's better if you use metal chain and wrap it around my body. Otherwise, I'm afraid that I can't control myself anymore. You. Li Feng'er slightly shouted, looked strangely at him. This is the first time I heard that one need to be tied by a chain because he is a pervert. I have seen many perverts. But this is the first time I have seen a pervert like you. Yang, who also stunned, said, There isn't a need to do that, right? I know that Feng'er is a beauty, but that Xia Xinyan is even more beautiful. Don't tell me that you were also like this when you met that girl for the first time. Yang Mu secretly gasped, Xiao Yanzi. Did you eat an aphrodisiac? If not, why are you behaving so strange? I practice a martial skill that has a backlash. Once forced to use it, the backlash will make me lose my mind. Shi Yan couldn't say anything about the mysterious martial spirit and only tell about Rampage. While panting heavily, he urgently said, I'm not kidding, brother. Quick, tie me, otherwise I definitely will go crazy and will become the same as that Gujianga. Yang Mu's face changed. He quickly replied, You really mean it? Sure. Yan nodded again and again. This time Yang Shui and Li Feng'er also started to panic from Shi Yan changes. They can see that there was something wrong and knew that Shi Yan wasn't kidding. After all, they also saw Gu Jianga, who suddenly went crazy. All right. Yang Mu was very decisive. He quickly flew out from that double-headed dragon, and the magic ring in his hand flashed, and suddenly a green iron chain appeared. This chain is a soul rank secret treasure, and it can bind a Nirvana realm warrior. Do you really want to bind yourself? Yes. Yang Mu frowned, didn't said anything, and tied Shi Yan with that chain. After being bounded, the flow of profound qi in Shi Yan body suddenly slowed down. The chain released a strange oppressive power, and after being tied with this chain, Shi Yan felt like there was a huge mountain crushing him. Even moving became extremely difficult. The various energies inside his body slowed down, after tied by that chain. It's okay now, Shi Yan growled. On the demon ghost's body, he closed his eyes, and his body was gently trembling. He seemed to be enduring a great pain. Yang Mu and the others were looking at him with a strange expression. Suddenly, evil, dark, violent, and negative auras came out from Shi Yan's body. Those powers were like sharp sword, wandering inside Shi Yan's body. They clearly saw that Shi Yan's skin began to split, and also blood was starting to flow out from his mouth and eyes under the backlash. This time Shi Yan absorbed too much power. The backlash from that much power was also extremely violent. Even his body couldn't withstand that amount of power. Under the outbreak from the backlash, his body was being destroyed from inside. The tendons in his body were shaking, and some were even snapped. What kind of evil martial skills this kid practiced? Why is the backlash so terrifying? Li Feng'er was staring at Shi Yan. He only has the cultivation of the second sky of Disaster Realm, but he was fearlessly under the attack from the 7 swords of Gulinglong. He even managed to survive from it. Yang Shui's expression became complicated. As you know, Gulinglong is ranked 8th on the power rankings. Her Heart of Divine Sword is a sacred rank martial spirit. Li Feng'er's body trembled. In other words, if he used this evil martial skill, then he can defeat me. Feng'er, you only have the cultivation of the first sky of Earth Realm. Yeah, although your talent is extraordinary. But if Xiao Yanzi really wants to kill you, from the strength that he showed, maybe there is a possibility of it happening. Yang Shui nodded. Li Feng'er became shocked. After Yang Shui said that, she then realized Shi Yan's frightful strength. The ability to kill people above his own realm was really terrifying. Now I felt more and more that the head is really wise. Looks like it is really worthy to spend 3 drops of immortal blood for him. Translated by Wai. Chapter 221, Peak of the Disaster Realm. Chapter 221, Peak of the Disaster Realm. Shi Yan sat on top of the demon ghost. He started trembling more and more, as blood dripped from his lips, and his entire body was shrouded with evil energies. Yang Mu, Yang Shui, and Li Feng'er all appeared to be very surprised. They stared at Shi Yan, and thoughtful expressions can be seen on their faces. This backlash is truly very frightening. Yang pondered for a moment and said, "Truly, there is only our Yang family's immortality martial spirit that can hold against this. I can see the destructive speed of little Yan's body, and it is very rapid. However, the recovering speed of his body is also not weak. Having the ability to make his power suddenly rise to a level where he can fight with an Earth Realm First Sky Warrior, this martial skill naturally won't have a weak backlash force." Yang Mu nodded. Like Xia Xinyan, once she activates the reincarnation martial spirit, she can instantly step into the sky realm. However, once the reincarnation power disappears, not only would she turn back to her true form, it would be hard for her to battle for another few months. In order to use any power that doesn't belong to yourself, you will have to suffer the constraints of the rules of nature. Right, can the nutrition pills help him? Yang Shui's expression changed. "I still have 2 nutrition pills on me. It's no use." Yang Mu shook his head. Little Yan's martial spirit's recoil is a little different than other people's. His recoil has a very strong soul fluctuation. It's not just pure physical damage. The nutrition pill will only work when he regains consciousness. But he has our Yang family's immortal martial spirit on him. So, the nutrition pill may not be any use for him. That's true. Yang Shui was silent for a moment and then nodded. Everyone became silent. They continued to look at Shi Yan. Soon, Shi Yan seemed to become overwhelmed by the pain from the recoil. He clenched his teeth and roared. At that moment, his expression was the most ferocious. He was about to lose his sanity. Guard him well. This moment is the most crucial for him. Yang Mu's face was serious. He quietly went closer toward Shi Yan, in fear that Shi Yan might not be able to handle the stinging pain in his body at this important time. Yang Ku and the rest also quietly moved a few steps closer. Shi Yan roared. Like a demon beast that went mad, he kept roaring in the silent sky. His roars were extremely harsh. They spread far beyond, and seemed to have caught the attention of many warriors in the Sky Sea. Many warriors on the island all looked up towards the sky, unaware of what was happening. However, when they realized that under the white clouds it was double-headed dragon and the cyan blood bat that were flying, these warriors that were not from the Penglai divine land all had frightened expressions on their faces, even scared to reveal a single trace of discontent. Yang family warriors once wreaked havoc in the Sky Sea. Many Sky Sea warriors knew that the double-headed dragons and cyan blood bats were demon beasts tamed by the Yang family. These warriors didn't know about the mysterious change that happened in the Yang family. They only thought that this time the Yang family warriors were there to make trouble in the Sky Sea again. Yang Mu and the rest all had serious expressions on their faces. They didn't dare to relax even for a single moment. They all carefully took precautions, in fear that there would be Penglai divine land warriors that would come for them. While Shi Yan was screaming, the demon ghost seemed to have become excited. The dark energy and the demon energy whirled on his body, and air waves kept forming outside his body. Watching from the island down below, the demon ghost seemed to be riding with clouds and mists in the thick, dark sky. It gave people a very profound and stunning impression. After roaring for God knows how long, when Yang Mu and the rest were at their most tense moment, Shi Yan suddenly became quiet. All the evil energies on his body suddenly disappeared without a trace. Shi Yan seemed to have completely calmed down. After exhausting both his body and mind, he fell limp on the body of the demon ghost, as if he had lost consciousness. Yang Mu went to check on him. "It's all right, he's just temporarily passed out." But the immortal martial spirit inside him is already working to recover his physical body. Checking for a moment, Yang might quietly set his mind at rest. He's going to be fine. His immortal martial spirit is actually already in its 3rd stage. What? Yang Xie, Yang Ku, and Li Feng'er all exclaimed. They shockingly looked at Yang Mu with unbelievable expressions. It is indeed in the third stage. Yang Mu smiled with ease. I know you guys are very confused. After all, the third stage of the immortal martial spirit requires you to be in the earth realm. Before this, I also had this question in mind. I thought it was truly unbelievable. However, this guy is really abnormal. His immortal martial spirit is really in its third stage. After Yang Mu's reminder, the three blankly stared at Shi Yan. Under the gaze of the three, the wounds on Shi Yan's body was indeed healing at a speed that was visible to the naked eye. Looking at this speed, it was absolutely unquestionable that this was indeed the third stage of the immortal martial spirit. How is that possible? Li Feng'er's beautiful eyes were filled with shock and curiosity. Exactly how many secrets are on this guy? I never knew that Disaster Realm warriors can also achieve the third stage of the immortal martial spirit. Could it be that he really is abnormal? The reason why Great Grandpa values him so much must be because of his special traits. Yang Mu smiled. Everyone all nodded. In the cold night sky, countless stars decorated the sky above. 5 demon beasts flew quickly in the night sky. The one in the lead was the demon ghost. Shi Yan was lying limp on the demon ghost. He had been unconscious for most of the day. In this time, the visible wounds on his body were all completely healed. In the second half of the night, Shi Yan lightly breathed out and slowly woke up. When he opened his eyes, he didn't bother with anyone. Instead, he immediately sat down with his legs crossed and started to strenuously cultivate with his eyes closed. Yang Mu and the rest were all looking at him. Everyone felt a strange energy fluctuation on his body. That energy fluctuation was extremely strange. It kept flowing rapidly in his body, as if it was quickly strengthening his profound qi. They had a feeling that Shi Yan's spirit, energy, and mind were all having an intriguing change. Time passed by quickly. Before the break of dawn, the natural energies in the nearby area all quietly gathered toward Shi Yan and flowed into his body. A flow of cold star power also poured down from the heavens and entered into Shi Yan's body. When the sun had just risen, Shi Yan finally reopened his eyes. His eyes looked like stars. 2 beams of strange light suddenly shot out from his eyes. They actually reached 3 feet out from his eyes, and then quickly went back inside his eyes again. Lighting formed from the eyes. The peak of the Disaster Realm. Li Feng'er screamed. Yang Mu and the rest were also startled. They looked at Shi Yan in shock. The expressions on all of their faces were extremely stunned. Profound qi enters into the head and gathers in the eyes, forming into spirit light. This was the direct sign of the peak level of the Disaster Realm. Now that Shi Yan has just woke up, there was already electric light shooting out from his eyes. He had clearly stepped into the third sky peak state of the Disaster Realm. In just a short night, he leaped up from the second sky of Disaster Realm and directly stepped into the peak state of third sky of Disaster Realm. Shi Yan revealed a smile and nodded. Yeah, I stepped into the third sky of the Disaster Realm. Aren't you too much of a freak? Yang Ku's expression looked like he was defeated by Shi Yan. Didn't you suffer from the backlash force? Logically, you should be severely injured. Why are you not only completely fine, but also able to fly up and reach a new level? Dude, how many secrets do you have on you? Luck. Shi Yan smiled and didn't explain much. All right, stop asking. After the shock, Yang Mu also recovered. He knew that Shi Yan probably had some secrets that he didn't wish to talk about. He didn't want to force him either, so he only smiled. Little Yan is indeed a freak. No wonder Great Grandpa values you so much. This guy truly has endless potential. This trip to the chasm battlefield might just take you go one step further into the Earth realm. Everyone's eyes brightened. Shi Yan smiled. I'll try. I can also slightly sense that I'm probably going to step into the Earth realm very soon. That time on that ship, the profound chi that Shiryen had absorbed was extremely vigorous. The strange power it had changed to was also out of his expectations, and it actually helped him reach straight into the third sky of the disaster realm. Plus, he also seemed to be only one step away from the Earth realm. It seemed as if once he gains insight on a certain aspect, he would be able to smoothly step into the Earth realm. Everyone were stunned again. Madman, you are truly a cultivation madman. Li Feng'er shook her head and sighed. I originally thought Yang Mu and Yang Ku as monsters, but this time I've found that there is the existence of a monster among the monsters. Everyone seemed to agree with Li Feng'er's words, as they all nodded their heads, showing their approval to her words. 2 days later, after continuously riding the 5 demon beasts, they finally landed on Gourd Island. This Gourd Island was extremely big in size. From above, it looked like a giant gourd formed by 2 giant islands. On the bigger piece of the island, there were endless sky, demon mountain ranges, where countless demon beasts roamed arrogantly. Separated by many kilometers, Shiryen could almost hear the roars of the demon beasts coming from that side. The demon ghost was also slightly excited. Its evil green eyes gazed afar towards the sky demon mountain range, listening on to the roars of those demon beasts coming from within. It seemed to be irresistibly tempted by the delicious meals and was waiting to make a move. The smaller piece of the island was covered with swamps. Poisonous mists hovered over there and was filled with a deathly ambience. The gate of heaven that leads to the chasm battlefield is inside that swamp. There shouldn't be any dangers nearby. Back then, the Penglai divine land still guarded this gate of heaven, treating the gate of heaven that lead to the Abyss battlefield as a treasured land. However, the people that went to the Abyss battlefield, many of them died in there. Those that came back mostly obtained no benefits, so soon the Penglai divine land stopped valuing this gate of heaven, and now no one guards here anymore. Anyone can go in. Li Feng'er said loudly. The 5 demon beasts slowly came and stopped in the middle of the green swamps. In the swamps, green light flashed, and a gate of heaven floated quietly on top of a swamped area. A flow of deathly and ancient air quietly flew out from that gate of heaven. That is the gate of heaven. Li Feng'er pointed and said calmly, There is nothing abnormal here, however. Once we step inside, it would be another world. Inside the Abyss battlefield, there are dangers all around. We might not be able to find any secret treasures, but as long as we live, our objective will be achieved. Yes, live on. Yang Mu nodded. We have to stay there for at least 3 years. In those 3 years of time, we can do many things. You go to that side. In a while, I will come to find you. Shiryen patted the demon ghost and pointed towards the direction of the sky demon mountain range. There are many demon beasts there. This is your heaven. The demon ghost roared and flew into the sky. Its enormous body faded into a black in the sky, going further and further. Let's go. Yang Mu and the others also ordered their demon beasts, and finally stepped into the gate of heaven that lead to the chasm battlefield. Shiryen calmly followed. Chapter 222 Famous. Chapter 222 Becoming Famous. As the drizzling rain continued to fall, 3 silver-horned ships slowly headed towards the Gourd Island. On that ship, grimly-looking warriors were standing in rows. In one of the ships, Pan Jia, Chu Yanqing, Gulinglong were standing together and were having a conversation with a warrior from another ship. The young experts in the Endless Sea were gathered together with experts from another big sea to eradicate the young Yang warriors. I didn't expect that this time the Yang family will be hiding in the chasm battlefield. If I had known that then we would have stopped them at the Gourd Island, Panja frowned. Once they enter the chasm battlefield, it would be difficult to find them. The situation inside there is quite complex, so you guys have to be careful. The Yang family is finished. Even Yang Mu and others had to hide in the chasm battlefield. Even this can't change anything. Chu Yanqing looked indifferent. Under the drizzling rain, a circle of silver-white light wisp came out from her body and blocked the rain, and not a single drop of rain can stain her. The immortal island is empty. This time the Yang family has really made up their mind, Gu Linglong sniffed. It said that the Yang family is divided into 3 groups. The first one will go to the undersea desolate city. The other one goes to the chasm battlefield. And the largest one goes to the 4th demon area. They are really daring. Even they know that 2 Demon King from 4th demon area wants to exterminate them. Yet they still dare to move their main force into the demon area. Bo Sun and Chi Yan have already said that they will eradicate the Yang family in the demon area. Brother Panja, how much further is the Gourd Island? Xia Kuei smiled indifferently and shouted from another ship. Soon, but Yang Mu and the others probably will have already gone into the chasm battlefield. Looks like we have to meet with them inside the chasm battlefield, Panja laughed. Beside Xia Kuei stood a leisurely-looking beautiful woman with fair white skin in a green dress. Chao Jilan, the lady from Chao family in Tuda Sea, having the cultivation of the 3rd sky of Earth realm, and ranked 3rd in the power rankings, and the most formidable expert among the new generation from the Endless Sea. You guys have fought with Yang Mu 2 days ago, so what do you guys think about him? Chao Jilan slightly raised her neck. Her soft voice was like a spring breeze which gently touched everyone's heart. At that time there were warriors of the 3rd sky of Nirvana realm among you. But how can you end up in the embarrassment state that you have to abandon the ship? Xia Kuei was also quite curious about this. Although Yang Mu was difficult to deal with, but at most he can only fight with 1 Nirvana realm warrior, and you guys still lose, which is really strange. Panja, Chu Yangqing, and Gu Linglong looked embarrassed and slightly awkward. This time we aren't defeated by Yang Mu, Gu Linglong stammered and bitterly said. But it's another guy that made us fail to keep them. Oh. Chao Jilan also seemed interested in this. Her bright moon-like eyes were sparkling. While slightly raising her lips, she asked, Who? Xia Kuei, who was standing beside Chao Jilan after listening to her beautiful voice, looked at her face. He couldn't help but to compare her with Xia Xinyan in his heart, and he found that both in appearance or aura, Chao Jilan wasn't any less than Xia Xinyan. Their charm was actually on the same level. However, Chao Jilan was a ranked warrior in the power rankings, which made her aura more superior. Shi Yan. Gu Linglong bit her teeth, and her eyes shone with a cold light. I don't know where this kid emerged from, but with his appearance he made our Gu family bear a huge loss. If it wasn't for him, we certainly had retained Yang Mu and the others, and then wait for you guys to come to exterminate them. Shi Yan. Chao Jilan smiled. This name is very strange. Who is he? There shouldn't be an expert like this in Yang family's new generation. Xiao Kuei looked toward He Qing, who was on the 3rd ship, and lightly said, Little sister, you are the one who understands Shi Yan very well. I think you can explain about him to us. He Qing man wore a red armor. Her face was flirtatious with a unique seductive aura in her eyes. The young warriors who were on the same ship with her have been quietly watching her, and secretly gulped. Some warriors who thought that they were worthy of her were trying to please her, hoping to get her attention. This time, the evil Wonderland has completely turned against the Yang family. After knowing that Yang Qingdi was trapped with the demon seal pattern, the head of evil Wonderland tore up the treaty of alliance between evil Wonderland and Yang family, and revealed the information about Yang family's evacuation and waited for the arrival of warriors from other sea. After meeting, they were led by evil Wonderland experts to kill all the way into the immortal island. The evil Wonderland was pressed by the Yang family for hundreds of years, and now they finally got the opportunity to stand up, so naturally they won't remain silent. The Yang family in Kiara Sea was controlling hundreds of islands with rich resources. These islands were the most precious islands in the Kiara Sea. For all this time, the evil Wonderland coveted those islands. But because of Yang family, they didn't dare to act recklessly, and now, with the help of forces from another sea, the evil Wonderland will finally be able to take control over those islands. This time's situation made the Immortal Island a sharing field among those big forces. The 9 sacred mountains in Immortal Island became the best place for cultivating for the new generation, and the islands that were originally controlled by Yang family were divided up by those forces, and the evil Wonderland had the biggest benefits among them, taking up most of the divided islands. The Xia family, because they remained silent this whole time, didn't get any share of materials, and now the evil Wonderland, after controlling those islands from the Yang family, became more powerful and already far surpassed Xia family. The evil Wonderland morale was rising greatly. Since they have gone against the Yang family, there was no longer any scruples. After hearing that Yang Mu and the others went to the chasm battlefield without any hesitation, they sent out Xia Kuei, Hiqing Man, and the other experts, trying to exterminate the Yang family new generation. Little sister! After seeing Hiqing Man remain silent, Xia Kuei's face became ugly, and he slightly shouted, reminding Hiqing Man to pay attention to the situation. When in the Black Rock Island, Xia Kuei was quite dissatisfied with Hiqing Man, who protected Shi Yan, and after they left from there, they also quarreled several times, and their relationship was greatly affected. After this incident with the Yang family, Hiqing Man wasn't keen to deal with Yang family. When the evil Wonderland wanted to send her to Skyse, she refused, but then she was forced to go by evil Wonderland head. Xia Kuei knew that Shi Yan had saved Hiqing Man's life when they were inside the cave in the Black Rock Island, and also knew that Mo Duanhuin helped the He family, so Hiqing Man didn't want it to go against the Yang family. But Xia Kuei didn't think like that. He already thought that he was the next head of evil Wonderland, so he naturally wanted to seek the greatest benefit for evil Wonderland. Only by making evil Wonderland more powerful would he be able to suppress the Xia family and get Xia Xinyan. Shi Yan didn't come from Endless Sea, but from a remote place. His time spent in the Endless Sea is extremely short, and he is the one who was appointed by Yang Qingdi to enter the Yang family. Under Xia Kuei excoriate, Hiqing Man helplessly told about Shi Yan's origin. Shi Yan only has the cultivation of the second sky of Disaster Realm, but even so he can fight with Earth Realm warriors. This person has a lot of mysterious things and can't be underestimated. Gu Linglong grunted. This man is indeed different. He only has the cultivation of the second sky of Disaster Realm, but he can withstand my full blow, and also he practiced a very magical martial skill that can quietly lay out traps. This time we suffered heavy losses due to the trap arranged by him. Shi Yan, Chao Zhelan murmured and nodded her head, softly saying, after listening to you guys, it looks like this guy should be an interesting person. I hope that he won't disappoint me inside the chasm battlefield. Xia family, inside a huge discussion hall. Many Xia family heads were gathered, and Xia Xinchuan was sitting on the throne with a solemn look. Xia Xinyan was sitting gracefully under the throne, slightly frowning and quietly listening to Xia Xinchuan words. Brother, the Yang family is finished. Why don't we join with the other forces? As long as we show that we are against the Yang family, we will also be able to take over some of those islands. The islands and forces that previously belonged to Yang family already can't do anything. We can easily get those islands which belong to Yang family, Xia Shimo complained. Many Xia warriors also agreed with him and nodded. As long as Yang Qingdi isn't dead, then don't say that the Yang family has perished, Xia Shenchuan sniffed. Yang Qingdi has been running amok in the Endless Sea for many years and is very powerful. Even he is captured by Demon Seal Pattern. As long as he didn't die, the Yang family foundation is still solid. You also know Yang Qingdi's character. If one day he returned to Endless Sea, then accordance to his style, he would definitely deal with those people who dared to go against the Yang family. The Demon Seal Pattern from Demon King Qi Yan can even exterminate God Realm warriors. And now, not only Qi Yan is guarding the Demon Seal Pattern. Even Bo Sun is also guarding it. With those two Demon Kings teaming up, I don't believe that Yang Qingdi can escape from it. This time he would definitely die, Xia Shimo quickly said. The evil Wonderland has already reaped greatest benefit by getting 200 islands. The evil Wonderland has become more powerful than us, and now their power will only greatly increase. How can we deal with them in the future? Silence, these are Father's words. You have other opinions. Xia Shanchuan said with impatience. After hearing it, Xia Shenmo was immediately stunned and went silent for a moment. He slowly sat down and no longer said anything. Xianyan, don't go out for some time. Xia Shanchuan thought for a moment and said, after you entered into the second sky of Earth realm, there are more and more people coming to propose a marriage. Those people want to merge with our Xia family through marrying you. Especially the evil Wonderland, they already want to conquer the entire Kiara Sea. This time Xia Kuei has gone to the Sky Sea, and he may kill Shiryan, so you had better prepare in advance. If there is anything wrong with Shiryan, I will definitely kill Xia Kuei. Xia Xinyan eyes look indifferent, she lightly said. And also, I don't think that Xia Kuei can succeed even with his cultivation of the second sky of Earth realm. I believe Shiryan can escape. Suddenly there was an uproar in Xia family. They thought that Xia Xinyan has probably got the cackle fever. Just wait for it. In the future, Shiryan will surpass all of the people in the power rankings in the new generation, and there will be no one who can beat him. Xia Xinyan didn't explain anymore, and leisurely stood up and indifferent left the discussion hall. I'll be heading into closed-door cultivation. If Shiryan didn't return from the chasm battlefield, then don't call me. Translated by Wai. Chapter 2:23 The Chasm Battlefield. Chapter 2:23 The Chasm Battlefield. In an abandoned ancient wasteland with gray sky, no sun and moon and barren natural auras, the gate of heaven was floating on a flat-like mirrored mountain summit. Shiryan was standing on that summit. As he looked around, he found that this entire world was covered with a layer of gray clouds. His spirit power was blocked by those gray clouds, and it was very difficult even to see several kilometers. When looking far ahead, there were many huge, unimaginably deep, swarthy pits. The river were dried up, and there weren't any life signs, which made this place look like a dead land and gave a very dull feeling. So this is the chasm battlefield, Li Fenger gently sighed. There is no sense of direction here. No sun, moon, and stars, barren natural auras. This place really is not suitable for cultivation for a warrior. In the ancient time, this place was a battlefield. Many powerful ancient warriors were here. Those ancient warriors left many secret treasures and magical martial skills in this chasm battlefield, but it is extremely difficult to get those treasures. From the time when the chasm battlefield appeared, a lot of endless sea warriors were buried in it. Many warriors who came here in search of those treasures, 9 out of 10 can't get out alive from here. This time, our journey to this chasm battlefield isn't to find those treasure, but to live. Yongmu frowned, looked dignified. I have been here before, so I can take you guys to a safer area. Look at that direction. The gray clouds are very thick there. There is an old palace in there. Inside the palace, there are many restrictions and barriers that have become invalid, so we can stay in there for some time. Li Fenger pointed to a direction, gently said, Follow me, at least there is no danger before we arrive at that area. Yongmu nodded. Yes, Fenger, you lead the way. We will leave mark on the way, so that those people who want to kill us know our direction. No problem. Li Fenger chuckled and glanced at Shiryan, said, Shiryan, inside here you have to be honest. Remember to hear Uncle Jiang words. Uncle Jiang have a great understanding of barriers and restrictions and know some array method, so you can avoid a lot of danger. Sure, Yen looks indifferent and slowly nodded. Xiao Yanzi here is a magic ring. There is food and water inside it, and also a bottle of restoration pills, which can help you quickly restore profound qi. Yongmu handed over a green ring inside the chasm battlefield. It is difficult to find food and water. The natural auras inside here are also very barren. Once the profound qi loss is too huge, it will be very difficult to restore. There are 100 restoration pills inside. With the restoration pills, you can quickly recover after a fight. Yen received the magic ring, and when he looked at it, he immediately found that inside the ring there is a dimension as big as a house. Inside it, There are many food and water, and a white bottle was placed on the food, which probably contained the restoration pills. The magic ring can store items, and this ring is worth 1,000 best quality crystals in the endless sea. Only royalty, rank blacksmiths can refine this item. So don't lose it, Yangmu smiled. Shi Yan nodded. And also, keep this soundstone. The usage is very simple. You just need to inject your profound qi into it, then speak into it. Then we can hear what you want to speak about from the soundstone. Yangmu continued to explain. Inside the chasm battlefield, there are many strange restrictions. If we are careless, we may be separated. With this soundstone, even if we aren't in the same area, we still can communicate. Yes, as he grasped the stone and inject profound qi into it, the soundstone immediately shone with white light. Seems like there is a sound coming from the sound holes in the soundstone. Shi Yan is a pervert. A clear and melodious sound suddenly came from the soundstone. This voice was clearly from Li Fenger, who was in the front, and which made Shi Yan surprised. Hee, it's interesting, right? Li Fenger, who has been 100 meters in the front, smiled back, and she also held a soundstone and waved highly toward Shi Yan. Shi Yan shook his head, lightly said, "Next time, don't be so loud. I'm very timid and afraid of being scared by you." "Let's go. We will follow Fenger, so before we arrive at that palace, we should be safe." Yangmu smiled and thought for a moment. Then he used his hand to leave a line on a mark. "We went this way. Come if you dare." Yangmu. Sure, Yin looked at that line of words and didn't say anything. But in his heart, he really looked forward that Gu Linglong and the others can chase over. He faintly felt that he only need an epiphany before he can enter the Earth realm. In his view, Gu Linglong, Panja, and the others with a natural elixir in this chasm battlefield, and also a whetstone to sharpen himself. Through these people, maybe he would be able to gain an insight and enter in the Earth realm. He, who is combative, definitely won't fear the chase from Gu Linglong and the others. Instead, he's secretly excited. Li Fenger took the lead and led the warrior team from the summit, heading toward the direction where the gray clouds were very thick. Yangmu, Yangku, and Yang Shui followed, and Shi Yan, who was at the last, constantly analyzed the situation. Soon, the group came down from the summit and looked back at the gate of heaven that was in the summit. Shi Yan suddenly said, "Do we need to come back here if we want to go back?" "Yes, the gate of heaven in here is very bright, so we can see the gate of heaven from far away in the chasm battlefield. There isn't any sun, moon, and stars, so the light from this gate of heaven is the light that leads the way. Normally, we can see this light inside the 100-li radius. If we remember the direction, then it isn't too difficult." Li Fenger stopped and explained to the crowd. Shi Yan nodded and no longer said anything. Quietly followed behind Li Fenger, he silently went into the blood vein ring and shows a friendly and gentle feeling toward the 10,000 years core fire to maintain the friendly relationship between him and the core fire. At the war with Gu Linglong, if the core fire hadn't suddenly released its firepower, then he wouldn't be able to get rid of the 7 swords that invaded his body. The help from the core fire at the critical moment really made him very grateful, and thus his feeling to core fire greatly increased. Inside the blood vein ring, after converging with the core fire, Shi Yan immediately felt a feeling of joy from the core fire. Aware of Shi Yan's arrival, the core fire was very happy. It used its consciousness to wrap Shi Yan's thought and entangled with it inside the light, like a child fawning on their parent. A surging soul force came out from the light. Shi Yan clearly felt that the core fire soul seems to be changing, become more and more intelligent and powerful. As if, not long in the future, its evolution will be complete, and it can possess a complete soul of sky fire. The evolution of the core fire was already in the final step. As long as his life form formed, then the core fire already can be called as a sky fire, having more powerful divine ability and becoming more intelligent. After converging with the core fire for a while, Shi Yan drew back his consciousness and talked to the ice-cold flame. "I have arrived in the chasm battlefield." "The chasm battlefield," the ice-cold flame immediately replied. "What are you doing here? This is a very dangerous place with your current cultivation. You will only die in this chasm battlefield. Inside the chasm battlefield, the natural auras are very barren and also don't suit your cultivation. So why did you come here? How much do you know about the chasm battlefield? Not really, the ice-cold flame. Think for some time. I haven't been here before, so I didn't understand the chasm battlefield. But I got some memories from the guy who has come to the chasm battlefield, and even into the depths of the chasm battlefield. He had the cultivation of spirit realm, and was trapped in a restriction for 300 years, almost dying there. After he got out from the restriction, he immediately left the chasm battlefield and wasn't able to gain anything from here, so I know very little about this place. Okay, I got it, Shi Yan nodded. Pay some attention. Maybe there is another sky fire in here if you feel its presence. Remember to tell me immediately. Another sky fire! The ice-cold flame, slightly excited. My kind, interesting, it has been some time since I met my own kind. Hope that I can meet with it here. Do you want to run into it? Of course, maybe its element is the same as me, and we can evolve together. But there is also a possibility where it wants to devour me, between the sky fire. Most of us can devour each other. Once the devouring finishes, the victor will gain more power and become more intelligent. Your strength is being limited by the blood vein ring, so if you run into another sky fire, you definitely will suffer. Yeah, but if it dares to come into the blood vein ring, maybe it also will be captured by the blood vein ring. Your ring is very mysterious. It even can shackle life forms like us. It can bind me, so probably it's the same with another sky fire. Shi Yan became startled. The gate of heaven in the chasm battlefield flashed. Panja, Chaojilan, Gulinglong, Siakue, and hundreds of Earth Realm warriors came out from the gate of heaven one by one. Looked up at the gray sky. Panja, looking serious, lightly shouted, "Finally, we are here. We went this way. Come if you dare." Yangmu Siakue looked sullen, read out the words on the ground, and sneered. Looks like they are seeking death. They even dared to take the initiative to leave traces. The Yang family is really arrogant. Great, Gulinglong bite her teeth. Looks like we don't have to search for them now. The demon beasts can't enter the chasm battlefield. This time I want to see how the Yang family can escape. Don't need to be afraid of Yangmu and the others. As long as we can catch up, then they definitely can escape, Panja frowned, reminding everyone. But inside the chasm battlefield, there are many dangerous restrictions, so you guys need to be more careful. Don't die inside the restriction. As long as you guys follow me, I can guarantee your safety. Chao Jilan smiled indifferently. My martial spirit has the greatest advantage in this chasm battlefield. Any restriction, barrier, or array needs the power to support it, so I can find out the exact location of danger and can ensure that you guys will not fall into it. After she said that, everyone looked delighted. Chapter 224, Meteor Array. Chapter 224, Meteor Array. Sponsored by Jenilyn Badiola, Saipaklupti, and Kay Eisenman. The 9 broken palaces, held by stone pillars, stood in a field of white bones. Each palace was like a small mountain. There were already many pillars broken among those 9 palaces. 3 of them didn't even have any stone pillars for support. It appeared that they will collapse at any time. Damn, there must be a lot of people who came here before. These bones are very clean. Even their clothes are stripped with nothing left. Yang shook his head and complained loudly as he walked around inside one of the palaces and didn't find anything from those bones. After Shi Yan came. Even he didn't move. He already knew that there wasn't any treasure here. Of course, I already told you guys that you won't get anything in here, Li Fenger frowned. The restrictions and barriers inside the palaces have already disappeared. If we can enter it, of course the others can too. How could there be something left for you? The last time I came here, I'd also carefully checked, but still couldn't find anything. If you can find something, that would be very strange. Yeah, it's very safe in here, so there must be nothing here. Yangmu nodded, searched for a while, and said, I think Panja and the others will arrive soon. This place is quite wide. so it's pretty good to fight. Yeah, the problem is we don't know how many people they have with them. If there are too many and they came all together, then it will be very difficult to kill them. Let's make our retreat path first. Yang Shui hesitated for a bit. If there are too many and we are in a disadvantageous situation, then we need to withdraw immediately from here. Then we will find another chance to fight them. Anyway, this chasm battlefield is very deep, and also we need to stay here for 3 years, so we don't really have to fight with them. These 9 palaces are also a magical array, but this array is already damaged and didn't function properly. Jiang Huchuan pondered for a moment, said, "It's easy to pass through these 9 palaces. The gray clouds over there are very thick, and they have a very unusual energy flow. I believe that there is some restriction in there, but we need to pass from there if we want to retreat. So the area that is dangerous for us is also a threat for them too." Sure, Yen looked at the area where the gray clouds were very thick. When he released his consciousness, he couldn't find any signs of life but can feel a very strange energy flow in there. As if the restriction has already been operating, waiting for someone to fall into it. Let's make sure of our retreat path first. Yang Mu nodded towards Jiang Huchuan. Yeah, I will take a look first. Jiang Huchuan headed towards that direction alone. After looking at the area of the gray clouds, he hesitated for a while, then said toward Yang Mu, "You guys don't come in first. I will take a look first to ensure there is no danger there. After that, I will call you." After saying that, Jiang Huchuan entered into the depth. After he stepped into it, his figure immediately disappeared. As if he stepped into another world. Even his presence also disappeared. Shi Yen's face slightly changed. After he quietly used his consciousness to look, he found that there was no sign of life from Jiang Huchuan. Secretly frightened, Shi Yen realized that this chasm battlefield was really strange, and he immediately became cautious. After some time, Jiang Huquang came out miserably, with his body full of dust and messy hair. He seemed to have experienced a disaster. "How is it?" Yang Mu quickly asked. Meteor array. The moment I entered, suddenly there were huge meteorites falling over. Those meteorites were very dense and big, and the impact from the meteorites is also very huge. If we want to pass through, we must face the attack from those meteorites. If we are careless, we will be smashed by those meteorites. Jiang Huchuan looked grimly. "Is there any way to break it?" Li Finger asked. "I haven't found it yet. I need to recover first. Then I will enter again to find it." Jiang Huchuan shook his head, quietly sat down, and ate 3 restoration pills. "This place is really dangerous. Looks like it really isn't easy to survive in this chasm battlefield," Yang Ku exclaimed. "Yeah, in this chasm battlefield there are countless restrictions and barriers. It is more difficult to deal than our pursuers." Yang Mu also looked grimly. After Jiang Huchuan recovered for a while, he stood up and entered again. After some time he came out miserably again, but this time there was a trace of blood came out from his mouth. It seemed like he had been hit by those meteorites. After coming out, Jiang Huchuan didn't speak anything and once again took the restoration pills and continued to recover. Shi Yen and the others didn't say anything, just quietly watched Jiang Huchuan. After entering 2 times, Jiang Huchuan became more and more miserable. He who understood arrays very well became like this. Then if there was someone who didn't understand array and entered recklessly, then it definitely would be difficult to come out alive from there. The meteor array was one of the arrays that they encountered inside the chasm battlefield, and Jiang Huchuan, who had the cultivation of Earth Realm and a deep knowledge toward arrays, became so miserable. Then did they still need to pass through from there? "Looks like this chasm battlefield isn't so easy to stay," Yang Mu slightly sighed. "I have always heard the strange rumors about it before, but I didn't believe some of it, and felt that those rumors may exaggerate the dangers at the chasm battlefield. But now I know that those rumors were true if I didn't experience it myself. I really can't imagine it." "Well," Shi Yen smiled, lightly said, "the more dangerous this place is, then it will be more advantage to us. Even we will die, then those people will also face the same problem as us. I think Their overall strength should be stronger than us, which also mean, at here, they will suffer greater losses. Yeah, that's why we are here, Yang Shui nodded, because this place is really dangerous. It will be very difficult to deal with us. As they were speaking, Jiang Huchuan opened his eyes. Uncle Jiang, how is it? Yang quickly asked. Shaking his head, Jiang Huchuan looked grim. I saw an eye controlling the array, but there are many ancient letters on it. Even I didn't recognize those ancient letters. If I didn't understand the meaning of those letters, then it will be very difficult for me to find a way to break it. Ancient letters? Shi Yan was surprised for a moment, then immediately he asked, What kind of ancient text? It should be cuneiform letters from the ancient time. Primary used on arrays and restrictions. Only array master from the ancient times understood these ancient letters. In our time now, there is almost no one who has knowledge about these ancient letters. Jiang Huchuan sighed. Even my teacher can't recognize these ancient letters, and I'm even worse. Then what should we do? Yang was stunned. If we couldn't understand those ancient texts, then we will never be able to break this array, right? Before I understand the meaning of those ancient letters, I definitely won't act recklessly. Otherwise, it will be more dangerous. Jiang Huchuan nodded helplessly. Can you write down the ancient letters that you saw? Shi Yan suddenly said. Everyone was surprised and looked strangely at Shi Yan. They didn't know why he suddenly said that. Xiao Yanzi, what do you want to do? Yang Mu was stunned. He asked, Could it be that you understand letters from ancient time? Only some, but I don't know if those ancient letters are the one that I know. Shi Yan nodded. What? You really know it? Li Feng'er immediately shook her head as she couldn't believe it. You are not kidding, right? Even Uncle Zhang's teacher couldn't recognize all of it. Do you really know it? Uncle Zhang, just write them down for me, Shi Yan insisted. Jiang Huchuan was also confused. He pondered for a moment and said, There are only a few letters that I saw on the array's eye, so I still remember them. I just don't know what it means. If you want to see, I will show it to you. Jiang Huquang crouched, held a dagger, and depicted 6 strange letters. Arrival, rest, fire, wind, life, death. Shi Yan pointed at the ancient letters on the ground and read it word by word. That is all. Fortunately, I recognize all of it. Everyone was stunned. You aren't talking nonsense, right? Li Feng'er exclaimed. Yang Mu, Yang Ku, and the others also showed an expression of disbelief. Their eyes were odd, and they doubted if Shi Yan really recognized those letters or not. Master Yan, is it really these letters? Jiang Huchuan looked startled, suddenly stood up, and his eyes flashed. I can't be wrong. Shi Yan nodded. Before I was 17 years old, I had a great interest towards ancient text, and fortunately I recognized those letters, so I can be certain that it is these 6 letters. I will enter again. Jiang Huchuan pondered for a moment, suddenly said, This time I will try moving the array eyes if the message that Master Yan gave to me is right. Then I think I can break this array. But if the message is wrong, I think I won't come back again. Jiang Huchuan looked at Shi Yan deeply. Seemed like he was waiting for something. Everyone's face changed as they heard the meaning from Jiang Huchuan words and looked at Shi Yan again. I definitely am not wrong. Under the looks from everyone, Shi Yan calmly replied, Don't worry, Uncle Jiang, I won't harm you. These 6 letters absolutely aren't wrong. All right. Jiang Huchuan replied. He no longer hesitated and entered into the restriction again. Xiao Yanzi, Yang Mu lightly said. It seemed like he wanted to say something, but eventually he shook his head, smiled wryly, and didn't said the following words. I know what you guys are worried about. Shi Yan looked indifferent and grinned. Brother, did you see me as a man who acts recklessly? Yang Mu immediately shook his head. That's right. Rest assured. Uncle Jiang definitely will be okay, Shi Yan comforted them. There is someone coming. Pretty quick, though, Li Feng'er shouted. Don't know when. She already stood on a broken stone pillar and looked at far away. Her face gradually changed. Panja, Gulinglong. Chaojilan Siakue Hiching Man. Siakue, Hiching Man. Yangmu eyes suddenly became cold. He sneered. The evil wonderland is really audacious. To deal with us, Yang family. At this time they really have no scruples. Hiching Man also came. Yang Shui eyes became cold and he angrily said, I can't believe she is also involved in this. I know that the relationship between you and her is quite good, Yang Mu sighed. But at this time, no matter how good the relationship is, it is the same. If this girl is only pretending, then we don't need to fight with her. But if she really want to kill us, don't give her mercy. I know what to do. Yang Mu took a deep breath and nodded. Translated by Wai. Chapter 225, Ambush. Chapter 225, Ambush. Inside the broken palace, Shi Yan and Yang Mu's group were quietly waiting for something with serious faces. This time, the time that Jiang Huchuan spent inside the meteor array was longer than before. While Pan Zhan, Chao Zhilan, and the others have been approaching closer and closer, everyone was quite anxious because their retreat path hasn't been confirmed. Yang Ku, with his knitted eyebrows, kept walking around, regularly looking at the thick gray clouds area where Jiang Huchuan had entered. Li Feng'er stood on the broken pillar. Her body was slender and soft. Her eyelashes were long and prominent on her face. She slightly shouted, Nearly 100 Earth Realm warriors, this force isn't just double stronger than us. Chao Zhilan and Siakue have also joined this time, as well as Hiching Man. Those are tough characters. It looks like we got some troubles. Chao Zhilan. Yang Mu's face looked heavy. This woman was the high-class warrior from the young generation of the Chao family. Rumors said that she has an extraordinary strength. Ranked 3rd in the combat list, 1 rank higher than me. I haven't fought with her yet, so I didn't know how her real ability is. However, since she was ranked 3rd, her ability mustn't be weak. Yang Mu thought for a moment and then suddenly said, If the situation turns bad, regardless of whether Uncle Jiang has come out or not, we must enter that meteor array. Yang Shui's beautiful face slightly changed. She couldn't help but exclaim, If that meteor array isn't broken yet, I'm afraid we will suffer a great loss if we enter it. You guys also have seen that even Uncle Jiang, who has a deep knowledge of array, was stuck in there. If we enter there, we definitely will be worse than Uncle Jiang. Li Feng'er, Yang Ku, and the others also looked somber. They all looked at Yang Mu. The meteor array is dangerous for us, but it is also the barrier that Dieter's Panja and Chao Zhilan. They are more than us, so if they keep chasing us, their loss will be certainly bigger than ours. Yang Mu said calmly, So, regardless of whether Uncle Jiang can come out or not, we still need to enter it. Shi Yan, Yang Shui's face was confused. Do you think Uncle Jiang will be fine? Of course, Shi Yan shook his head. If Uncle Jiang understands that meteor array, he definitely can break it. I believe the message that I have given him is correct. Gently nodding her head, Yang Shui, still dubious, sadly said, I hope so. It was not that she didn't believe in Shi Yan, but this time Jiang Huchuan had entered for a long time and still hadn't come out yet. In their mind, Jiang Huchuan could have probably encountered some danger. They subconsciously thought that Jiang Huchuan had died inside the meteor array. Even Yang Mu had said that once the situation got bad, regardless of whether Jiang Huchuan came out or not, they still needed to enter the meteor array. It proved that he didn't have too much confidence. They will arrive here soon. Li Feng'er raised her head, looking up for a while. I think we should prepare first. By using the terrain here, we can ambush them, and maybe we can kill some of them. Li Feng'er gritted her teeth. Her eyes shot out a cold beam of light. She looked like she was ready to fight. Shi Yan secretly nodded and then quietly urged the power inside his body to form gravitational field without saying anything. Yang Mu, Yang Ku, Yang Shui began to command the other warriors to split up and temporarily hid inside the palaces. As soon as the enemies arrived, they would signal their warriors to take action. Master Yan, what should we do? Kama asked respectfully. Kama was in the third sky of the Earth realm and belonged to Shi Yan's team. His cultivation base was the highest. He was 2 meters tall with a sturdy body. His strength was very superior because had trained the Shura blood guard of Shura King Limu. You guys hide inside the palaces first. Don't need to prepare anything. Just seize the opportunity to kill the enemies when facing them. Shi Yan's face became solemn. Just focus. You only have fleeting chances. I will give you guys the opportunity to kill them in one blow, so you guys must seize that chance. Understood, Master Yan. Kama's face was convulsive. Previously, in the battle on the Silver Horn ships, Kama had seen Shi Yan's miraculous ability. He knew that Shi Yan could quietly release mysterious martial technique that could affect the entire battle and also could constrain the enemy's movements so that the others have the chance to kill the enemies. Therefore, although Shi Yan only had the cultivation of the disaster realm, Kama and the others still had little respect for him and didn't look down on him. Oh! Shi Yan slightly shouted and looked toward the thick gray clouds area. His soul consciousness sensed some anomalies from there. In the area that Jiang Huchuan had entered before, the energy flow was very chaotic at the beginning, but it seemed to become restful all of a sudden. The energy inside seemed to turn into a long river, slowly flowing in a special current, as if someone had repaired the mess inside the energy, restoring their order. Jiang Huchuan. Shi Yan's mind was slightly agitated. He immediately realized that Jiang Huchuan had probably succeeded in breaking the meteor array and changing the energy flow inside the meteor array. Uncle Jiang is going to come back. Shi Yan revealed a faint smile and slightly shouted. What? Li Feng'er was still standing above him, looking at Shi Yan below. Are you a prophet now? Shi Yan smiled and shook his head, looking up toward Li Feng'er, and said, I am not a prophet, but I can vaguely sense his presence. I have a magical treasure that can help my spirit insight become sensitive. Little Yan, Uncle Jiang has succeeded? Yang Mu overjoyed. The enemies will come here soon. If Uncle Jiang has succeeded, we will have a greater advantage. Yeah, he will come out soon. Shi Yan nodded. As soon as he had finished his word, a body covered with dust suddenly ran out. Jiang Huchuan's face was full of dust, but he was very energetic. He excitedly looked toward Shi Yan and happily said, The message that Master Yan has given me is indeed true. Thanks to Master Yan's knowledge of the ancient text, I could break the meteor array. Yang Ku, Li Feng'er, Yang Shui, and the others were very surprised when they heard Jiang Huchuan's words. They all looked at Shi Yan with a meaningful look in their eyes. Kama and the other warriors who had been assigned to Shi Yan's team was very excited and had more confidence in Shi Yan now. After we enter into the meteor array, remember to take 7 steps on the left path first, and then take 5 steps on the right path, and then take the left path and repeat the steps again. Remember, 7 steps to the left, 5 steps to the right. Don't forget it. If you follow this, the meteorite will not hit you guys. Jiang Huchuan grinned. If the enemies dare to enter it, I believe that they won't be able to figure this out and definitely will suffer a great loss. That's the best. Yang Mu laughed comfortably. Let's prepare first. We will ambush them and kill some of them first. If the situation changes, we will immediately retreat into the meteor array. This time we are lucky to have Uncle Jing's and Little Yan's help. Otherwise, we undoubtedly will face a big problem. Ha ha ha. Now we have the advantage, and we should make those pursuers taste the defeat. Those are 9 broken palaces. Pan just stopped all of a sudden. He stood on a solid stone, looking at the distance. I have gone through those 9 palaces over there before. All of the ancient arrays inside there have been broken, so there is no danger. However, behind the 9 palaces, there are still many forbidances and barriers. So it all depends on luck when we want to pass through it. Those Yangs people maybe have left from there? Gu Linglong frowned. I don't know. Pan just shook his head. Just be careful. There are many hiding places inside those 9 palaces. If the Yang's people stay hidden there, it will be tough for us. Even we have more people, we still can't let our guard down. Remember, don't act recklessly. The gray clouds behind the 9 palaces are very thick. Thus, our sight dropped greatly, and many forbidances blocked our spirit power as well. Over there was the real chasm battlefield. Yang's people are inside the palaces. Chao Zhilan dashed forward, passing Panja like a feather drifting forward. Her slender body was swaying and swinging as if it was weightless, giving people a strange feeling. Follow up, just be careful. Shi Yan that you guys have mentioned has formed strange confining vortexes inside the palaces. Those vortexes also keep shaking. Yeah, you guys will tell me who is Shi Yan later. I will deal with him, first to prevent him from playing tricks with you and creating a chance for the Yang people to kill you guys. Chao Zhilan was like a floating feather. Her body moved in the air randomly, leaping up from the ground from time to time, which made her movement turn into a blurred shadow that seems very slow, but in fact, it was dashing incredibly fast toward the palace. Miss Chao, your spirit, God, martial spirit, can detect any energy flow and also know that energy's movement rule, and thus, it enables you to find a way to deal with it. This spirit, God, martial spirit, is a sacred, rank, martial spirit. It can even sense the tiny weakness of the opponent's martial technique. It is genuinely magical. So just follow her words. The saintess from the Heaven Lake Divine Land, Chu Yangqing, displayed a strange emotion in her beautiful eyes as she explained Chao Zhilan's miraculous martial spirit. Chao Zhilan's martial spirit was very mysterious. Many warriors from the Endless Sea have heard about this. However, only a few people knew the magical effect and the strength of her martial spirit. Chu Yangqing was one of the few of them. Pan Zhe, Xiakue, Gulinglong eyes were shining after hearing Chu Yangqing's words. Chao Zhilan's spirit, God martial spirit, can detect any energy flow and even can know the movement rule from that energy. This means that the forbidances and barriers inside the chasm battlefield couldn't escape from the martial spirit's detection. She could even find the way to break those obstacles. Inside the chasm battlefield, Chao Zhilan's spirit, God martial spirit, was apparently very useful. It could help them significantly reduce their loss. Don't hide anymore. Just come out and fight with us. Outside the palace, Chao Zhilan calmly walked inside with a smile on her face. Her slender body could easily avoid 3 moving gravitational fields. She shook her head and revealed a smile. Yeah, these active traps are very magical. No wonder why Panja and the others had to suffer a great loss. Shi Yan, right? You have surprised me by making those traps. Can you show up, please? Sure, Yan was hiding behind a stone pillar, his face slightly changed. He coldly harumphed and walked out step by step with a dark face. He appeared from the stone pillar where he had been hiding. Watching this beautiful woman who breaks his gravitational field and hearing her praise made him become focused and cautious without daring to let down his guard even a bit. He could feel that he was the target of this woman. Chapter 226. You guys go first. Chapter 226. You guys go first. Chao Zhilan quietly stood outside of the palace. She didn't rush to enter, but instead she smilingly looked towards Shi Yan, who poked his head out from behind the stone pillar. The look in her eyes was somewhat shady. Panja and the rest saw that Chao Zhilan was already here. They didn't dare to delay, and all sped up their pace, quickly appearing behind her. Almost 100 Earth Realm warriors lined up neatly and stood behind Panja, Gulinglong, Xiekue, and Chu Yanqing. They coldly watched the rubbled palaces, as if waiting for something. Did they hide because they want to make a sneak attack? Chao Zhilan chuckled and shook her head. Her thin hand slightly raised up, and beams of blue light flew out of her 5 delicate fingers, attacking the Yang family warriors that hid inside the rubbled palace. Yang Mu and the rest that hid in the dark seemed surprised. Under the attack of the bright blue lights, they had to move out of their hiding spots, and all revealed their whereabouts. Shi Yan's expression slightly shifted. This gorgeous woman was even harder to deal with than Nirvana realm warriors. Inside the Abyss battlefield, mind power was restrained, and even vision was greatly affected. Inside the Abyss battlefield, even Nirvana realm warriors have a hard time picturing the life force fluctuations around them. But this woman was still 50 meters away from the palace. However, she seemed to have the all-seeing eye and pointed out all the Yang family warriors that were hiding. With her sole power, she broke the sneak attack plan of Shi Yan and the rest. You don't need to hide. There's no point. I know your exact spots. Chao Zhilan smiled. She kept waving her hand and shot out more bright lights, forcing the Yang family warriors to shift and appear in plain sight. Pan just smiled casually. He stepped forward and stood beside Chao Zhilan. He nodded towards Yang Mu from a short distance. We meet again so soon, He. This time you can't use demon beasts to block us. I wonder if you can still escape from this. I think I remember that the ones who fled in panic last time were not us. Yang Mu seemed stunned. He scratched his head and looked towards Yang Ku. I'm not wrong, am I? It wasn't us who jumped into the sea. Yang Ku chuckled coldly. Big brother, you might have remembered wrong. Some people seem to think that they won before. When facing enemies twice their amount, Yang Mu and Yang Ku were not startled at all. They still had the leisure to mock Pan Zhe, as if they didn't take this crisis seriously. Pan Zhe, Chu Yanqing, and Gu Linglong immediately darkened their expressions. The ones that should come out are all out now. Isn't this great? Chao Zhilan smiled. She turned back, glimpsed at Pan Zhe and the rest, then said confidently, You can go inside to complete the objective of this mission now. Don't worry. There won't be any messy traps for you to deal with. Then, Chao Zhilan suddenly whistled. The crisp whistle spread far and loud. On the sound of the whistle, her delicate body was like a lightning flash that shot straight toward Shi Yan. At the same time, rings of blue aura flew out of her body. These blue auras were like hula hoops, quickly flying inside the palace, with the intention of going towards the gravitational fields that Shi Yan made. Inside the blue auras, there was a flow of extremely obvious soul fluctuation. Inside every blue aura, there seemed to have Chao Zhilan's mind power. Once these blue auras fell inside the gravitational fields, they immediately rippled with bright blue light, and the blue light instantly filled the entire gravitational field. The gravitational fields that were hard to be seen by the naked eye now appeared in plain sight because of the blue light. When the blue auras fell into the gravitational fields, the bright blue light that it released had no effect on the operation of the gravitational fields. However, the existence of these blue lights marked the placement of the fields, letting Pan Zhe and the rest know where the traps were, so they could dodge them. Chao Zhilan didn't remind them, but from the location of the blue lights, Pan Zhe and the rest clearly saw the traps that were secretly made by Shi Yan. The gravitational fields were now useless. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the whistling sounds, Chao Zhilan shot towards Shi Yan like lightning. In a mere moment, her delicate body appeared in front of Shi Yan. Sky spirit-bound. Chao Zhilan shouted. A blue light cover formed by vigorous spirit energies suddenly fell on Shi Yan's head. The Sky Spirit-bound was a mortal-level martial skill. It uses the natural spirit energies to form a constraint, directly capturing the opponent. As long as the spirit energies remain, The constraint of the sky spirit bound would not disappear. Performing the sky spirit bound while being in the third sky of Earth realm, Chao Zhilan was confident that even Yang Mu would be bound by her for a while. It's not that hard. Chao Zhilan chuckled. She looked at Shi Yan's figure inside the blue light cover and shook her head, feeling slightly disappointed. I thought you would have some things up your sleeve, but it seems that you're nothing more than this. Boring. What are you talking to yourself about? Shi Yan snorted coldly. Chao Zhilan's bright eyes lit up. With some excitement, she looked at Shi Yan, who was outside the light cover. Then she immediately looked at the blue light cover, suddenly realizing that the original figure of Shi Yan was slowly dissipating and disappearing bit by bit. Shadow. Chao Zhilan's pretty face smiled more. She nodded. You kind of have some skills. Didn't get captured by me immediately. Very good, very good. This is more interesting. Yang Mu, you won't get away. Panja yelled. With a feather fan in his hand, he already started battling with Yang Mu. The Earth Realm warriors that rushed in from outside the palace also quickly sought opponents. They formed into an arc and surrounded the Yang family warriors, moving closer towards them. Yang Mu, Yang Ku, and the rest were dealing with their opponents and quietly backing up at the same time. They moved closer towards the area behind the palace with the thick, dark clouds. When Chao Zhilan pointed out their exact spots, Yang Mu already had the thought of retreat. At the moment his figure appeared, he already made hand gestures, signaling everyone to retreat to the area where the meteorite formation was. Li Fenger and the rest all know very well in their hearts. They knew that the situation was not fit for a battle to the death. According to Yang Mu's idea, they all moved closer to that side. Panja, you weren't worthy of being my opponent then, and it is still the same now. On that side, Yang Mu laughed loudly, with a fearless expression on his face. Surrounded by many warriors, an extremely explosive power was bursting from his body. That giant sword pressed towards them like mountainous waves, forming continuous explosion sounds, beating the hell out of those tight-knit warriors. Yang Mu had the immortal martial spirit. He wasn't scared of being heavily injured at all. He even purposely injured his body just to kill those surrounding attackers. Very soon, there were many wounds on Yang Mu's body. Many of the wounds were so deep that the bone was visible. They seemed extremely severe. At the expense of heavily injuring his body, in this mere moment, Yang Mu had already killed 3 warriors in the first sky of Earth Realm. Plus, this result was under the situation in which he was facing Pan's attacks at the same time. Yang Ku and Yang Shui were about the same as Yang Mu. They relied on their fearlessness of wounds, and when they battled with attackers, they often didn't care about getting injuries on their body. They killed the surrounding attackers at the expense of injuring their own bodies. Shi Yan, how are you going to escape this time? Gu Linglong shouted coldly. A long magic sword flew through the air. This magic sword was in a strange prism shape with a chilling cold ambience. The look in Shi Yan's eyes was calm. He didn't look at the cold magic sword that Gu Linglong shot out. Instead, he gravely stared at Chao Zhilan. After one blow from Chao Zhilan, she didn't attack again. Instead, she observed the situation in the battlefield with interest. She saw Panja and the rest quietly surround Yang Mu's group, and she saw the Yang family warriors retreat towards that meteorite formation in an orderly manner. The moment when Gu Linglong's ice magic sword attacked, Shi Yan immediately guessed her intentions. In the last battle, the aftershock power of the 7 magic swords of Gu Linglong had once rushed into his body. However, they were burnt completely by the fire power of the 10,000-year-old core fire. As the master of the magic sword, Gu Linglong naturally knew that inside Shi Yan's body there was a strong fire power. So this time she didn't shoot out all 7 magic swords. Instead, she concentrated the power in her body and solely controlled this one ice sword with the cold energy, wanting to use the cold energy on this magic sword to suppress the fire power in Shi Yan's body. The ice magic sword pierced through the air. Shi Yan's expression was cold. He didn't make any actions. When he sensed that bone-chilling cold energy, a chilling grin suddenly appeared on his lips. Boom! Raising his hand, he gathered the negative energies, and a death seal suddenly bursted out. The death seal explosively shot onto the ice magic sword. Negative powers that were several times stronger than the last battle suddenly exploded, and actually blew away that cold magic sword into the air. Gu Linglong's delicate body shook. Her face suddenly became paler, and her eyes were extremely surprised. But after the surprise, she smiled. Let me see how you are going to get rid of that cold energy this time. The moment when the death seal blew on the cold magic sword, the bone-chilling cold energy in the ice magic sword also flowed out at this opportunity, seeping through Shi Yan's entire body. The true motive of Gu Linglong was to let the cold energy of this ice magic sword make Shi Yan's body freeze up completely. Chao Zhilan chuckled. She looked toward Shi Yan with interest and said, "The cold energy has entered your body. How are you going to deal with it? Why is there a need to deal with it?" Shi Yan frowned and glanced afar at Gu Linglong. He mocked. "Didn't that retard Gu Jianga tell you I was once sealed in ice by the ice-cold flame for 3 years? Even the cold energy of the ice-cold flame couldn't do anything to me. Can the cold power of your little ice magic sword be stronger than the cold power of the ice-cold flame?" Gu Linglong's face suddenly changed. "Retreat." At this very moment, Yang Mu suddenly roared. The light in his giant sword shone, and beams of extremely sharp sword aura accurately shot towards Panja and the rest. Taking this opportunity, Yang Mu and the group of Yang family warriors immediately stepped inside the meteorite formation. "Let's go." Karma waved his hand and shouted, "Young Master Yan, we should leave now." "You guys go first." Shi Yan's face suddenly changed. All the hair on his body seemed to raise. His eyes stared straight at that Chao Zhilan. Chapter 227. You really surprised me. Chapter 227. You really surprised me. You're quite alert. Chao Zhilan smiled like blooming flowers. A flow of surging, terrifying power swept toward Shi Yan like tides. This flow of frightening power came out of nowhere. Sure, Yan only noticed it when it was arrived 3 meters in front of Shi Yan. This frightening power that came from Chao Zhilan was everywhere. Silently, it already sealed all escape routes around Shi Yan, whether it be in the sky or below the ground. Everything was occupied by this power. No matter which way Shi Yan backed off to, he would touch this flow of power. This flow of terrifying power did not flow toward Shi Yan with a fast speed. Perhaps it was because the overcasting power was too broad that caused it to go extremely slowly when in action. "Damned little brat, I'll see how you're going to block it now." In the distance, Gu Linglong shouted coldly. She was going to activate the magical sword to attack again. "Little sister Gu, you can leave this guy to me. You don't need to intervene." Chao Zhilan frowned. She turned back and glacéed at Gu Linglong, then said lightly, "Don't worry, when I capture him, I'll let you take out your anger on him." "Capture him?" Gu Linglong dazed. Her nose twitched. "Why won't you just kill him?" Gu Linglong's bright eyes darted, and then she smiled. "There's something I want on him. If he dies too soon, I might not be able to get the things that are on him." Shi Yan's expression was serious. "What do you want?" "The things inside that ring of yours." Chao Zhilan smiled joyfully. Her jade-like fingers pointed at the blood vein ring on Shi Yan's hand. "You might not know, but my martial spirit can sense any extraordinary power." As for what is inside your ring, of course you know it better than I do. The ice-cold flame and the 10,000-year-old core fire." Shi Yan's expression changed. When he looked at Chao Zhilan again, The alertness in his eyes got more intense. This woman can actually sense the ice-cold flame and the 10,000-year-old core fire inside the blood vein ring. What kind of magical martial spirit does she have? Shi Yan, who was secretly stunned, stirred his negative powers, petrified his body, and performed the dark light shield at the same time. He pushed out all of his defensive powers, preparing to handle the hit of the slowly approaching, but inescapable frightening power. You can't get away. Chao Zhilan seemed to know what he wanted to do. She chuckled and shook her head. Even Yang Mu can't save you now. Then a colorful ribbon flew out of Chao Zhilan's sleeve. That ribbon was like a snake, wiggling in midair and dragging out streaks of blinding rainbow light. The rainbow lights weaved into a net and also formed another layer of barrier constraint. With the flying of the ribbons, the power in the barrier seemed to get more complicated and vigorous, as if it was made with several different powers, posing a similarity to Shi Yan's gravitational field. Boom! Yang Mu's giant sword suddenly slashed onto the light net. The rainbow lights were like strong silk threads. Some of the rainbow lights shattered from the blow of the giant sword. However, more rainbow lights from that light net soon gathered towards the point at which the giant sword hit, and quickly repaired the area of damage. Yang Mu, if you want to break my rainbow net in a short time, it probably won't be easy. Chao Zhilan calmly waved her thin hand. The rainbow ribbons quickly flew and weaved into more rainbow lights. Yang Mu, why don't you try a few more times? I think if you try a few times more, you would surely be able to break my rainbow net. Big brother! Yang roared, we need to go now. Little Yen! Yang Mu roared angrily, can you get out? If you don't go now, it would be very hard to leave. Yang Mu also sensed how Chao Zhilan surrounded Shi Yan, and he knew that Shi Yan was temporarily trapped. Thus he hurriedly intervened, in an attempt to shatter the terrifying energies around Shi Yan, so that Shi Yan can break out of the trap. Yang Mu wanted to save Shi Yan, but the situation at the moment was not looking so good. Many warriors from the Yang family already went ahead into the meteor formation. At the moment, the few ones left outside were only Yang Mu, Yang Ku, and Li Fenger. At this time, if they get entangled with opponents, then it would be hard even for them to get into the meteor formation. Big brother, you go first! Shi Yan roared. Don't fall into their trap. You will only get more opportunities if you enter inside. Don't get everyone else implicated because of me. The brotherly love is so touching. Xie Kuei sneered. He glared at Yang Mu with a dark, evil look in his eyes. If you're brothers, then you should live together and die together. Yang Mai, last time at Black Rock Island, you killed my fellow junior disciple for this kid. In the eyes of you Yang family people, our lives aren't worth a thing. This time the reason why our evil wonderland is going against your Yang family also has something to do with your unhesitating murder. This time this kid is in trouble again. Are you going to die with him for his sake this time? Big brother! Yang Ke screamed. While he was talking, Xie Kuei and his group already surrounded Yang Mu. Gu Linglong, Xie Kuei, and Panju attacked together. They formed into a triangular formation to deal with Yang Mu. The three didn't make a murderous attempt immediately. Instead, they directed their sharp attacks to gather towards the meteor formation behind Yang Mu. Once Yang Mu backs off, he would land himself into the trap where all the attacks had gathered. Xie Kuei and the rest were trying to block off Yang Mu's escape first, so that even at a life-and-death emergency, he wouldn't be able to escape into the meteor formation. I won't leave then. Yang Mu suddenly relaxed. He glimpsed behind him at the spot where lights gathered and said with cold pride, even if I can't leave, I will drag you guys down with me. Xie Kuei, stop making your fucking excuses. The evil Wonderland single-sidedly broke the Treaty of Alliance and colluded with people from other seas to go against our Yang family. For what other reason can it be than their greed for our Yang family's riches? and that they want to take the Yang family's place in the Kiara Sea? Siekue sneered. Your Yang family has been arrogant in the Kiara Sea for too long. Because of the belligerent nature of the Yang family, none of the neighboring big seas have been at peace. The warriors from those seas have held grudges against the Yang family for a long time. With Yang Qingdi getting trapped this time, it's just the right fuse for the situation. Yang Mu, since you don't want to leave anymore, then I won't waste any more time either. Chao Zhilan pressed her lips and smiled. She casually looked toward Shuryen. Your big brother wants to protect you, but now he's getting the same outcome as you. Having someone to go to the afterlife with you. You won't be that lonely anymore. Later when you tell me the method to opening your ring, I will let you die easily. I won't give you extra pain. Bitch, you think you've got me for sure now. Shuryen took in a deep breath. His expression soon turned vicious. Curse all you want. You can curse a few more times before you die. I won't mind. Chao Zhilan still had that calm, careless look, as if no matter how badly Shuryen cursed at her, it won't move her at all, and it cannot affect her mind. Yang Ku, you guys go. Under the siege of Siekue and the two others, he suddenly roared, Remember to revenge for me! Big brother. Yang Ku suddenly smiled. He shook his head. We've been brothers for all this time. If you are to stay, how can I escape alone? Isn't it just death? When has us, the Yang family members, been scared of death? Li Fenger already had 1 foot in the meteor formation, but ultimately she didn't enter, and instead she stopped. Her eyes gleamed with cold light as she said coldly, as if I'm scared of death. Then Li Fenger stepped back from the meteor formation and stood next to Yang Ku again. Huff! Huff! Heavy panting sounds suddenly came from inside the field. The attackers that originally had their attention on Yang Mu, Yang Ku, and Yang Fenger couldn't help but look toward Shuryen when they heard the panting. Unknowingly, Shuryen's eyes had turned into a bright red color. His facial expressions were twisted and ferocious. Violent, crazy, bloodthirsty energies surged from all over his body, giving people an extremely dangerous feeling. His bright red eyes stared deep into the soul, like a ghost from the depths of hell, with the most extreme evil. The second sky of Rampage. Little Yen. Yang Mu's face changed. He exclaimed, What happened to you? I'm fine. Better than ever. Sure, Yen clenched his teeth. He roared with a low voice. The different negative powers surged towards all directions like enormous waves with him as the center. The terrifying power that came from Chao Zhilan was forced more than 10 meters away from the frightening air wave formed by these negative powers. A mass of murderous thoughts uncontrollably appeared in the bottom of his heart. At this moment, Shuryen was in the second sky of Rampage. The different negative emotions have started to rush into his mind, gathering with his consciousness, forming into a spiritual storm, sweeping towards where the other warriors gathered. The spiritual storm formed by different negative emotions had the evil power to delude people's minds, making them fall into a state of madness. Wherever the spiritual storm went, those Earth Realm warriors seemed to have lost control of the murderous thoughts in their minds, and couldn't help but raise their weapons to attack the people beside them. That trick again! Panja's handsome face showed some signs of fear. Be careful! Don't get affected by his evil spiritual power! Wisps of negative powers formed and gathered on Shuryen's body. The martial skill, second sky of Rampage, made him who was only in the disaster realm increase double in power. Shuryen's expression was extremely ferocious, like an evil spirit. He used the negative energies on him to push away the gushing powers that surrounded him, and actually walked step by step towards Chao Zhilan. No wonder Panja and the rest had lost. Chao Zhilan revealed a serious expression for the first time. Her bright eyes shone with a mysterious light. A disaster realm warrior can actually have such terrifying power! Shuryen You really surprised me. It seems that I've underestimated you before. You actually didn't take out your real power until now. He's actually even stronger than that battle. Gu Linglong's pretty face changed. She looked at Shi Yan with an unbelievable expression and couldn't help but exclaim. In the last battle, Shi Yan was in the second sky of Disaster Realm. He had only activated the first sky of Rampage. This time, Shi Yan was at the peak of the Disaster Realm, performing the second sky of Rampage. The atmosphere on him was not just a bit stronger than the last battle. Chapter 228, Turn the Tide. Chapter 228, Turn the Tide. In the rubbled palace, most of the warriors from the Yang family had already went ahead into the meteor formation. Now, the only ones who still stayed outside were Yang Mu, Yang Ku, Fenger, and Shi Yan. However, on Chao Jilan and Panja side, there were almost 100 warriors, of which Panja, Chao Jilan, Xia Kuei, Chu Yanqing, and Gu Linglong were all elite figures on the leaderboard. These 5 people were enough to win against Shi Yan's group. With Shi Yan inadvertently getting surrounded by the wave-like powers that Chao Jilan released, Yang Mu also got in a mess by trying to save him. Afterwards, Yang Ku and Li Fenger both knew that their chances were slim, but they stopped, turned around, and stood with Yang Mu. In the field, Shi Yan finally performed the second sky of Rampage in such a serious crisis, making the rolling negative energies in his meridians merge with the blood in his body. At that moment, the power in Shi Yan's body doubled again. Being at the peak of the Disaster Realm, the power on his body kept increasing. Under the refining of the surging negative powers, they instantly formed into frightening evil impacts, and actually pushed away the omnipresent powers that Chao Jilan quietly casted this way. And Shi Yan himself started stepping towards Chao Jilan. The evil powers of hate, fear, desperation, bloodthirst, and violence gushed out of Shi Yan's body. This flow of evil power rushed up into the sky like a whirlwind. As Shi Yan walked, the waves of evil power kept forming, and actually transformed into 3 magnificent, mountain-like demonic shadows. 3 demonic shadows were formed with different negative powers. They had Shi Yan's soul imprint on them and carried surging negative emotions. The demonic phantoms were foggy and floated above Shi Yan's head. Their faces were blurred, but gave an extremely terrifying feeling to others. Shi Yan's eyes were bright red. He coldly glared at Chao Jilan. Murderous thoughts came into his mind. Those 3 giant demonic phantoms suddenly flew out simultaneously. Their big demon claws were like overcasting dark clouds, pressing towards Chao Jilan. The faces of everyone in the field suddenly changed. Shi Yan's power instantly soared and formed 3 giant demonic phantoms on top of his head. The 3 demonic phantoms seemed like they were illusions, but brought extremely fierce and frightening energy fluctuations. Anyone could see that once they get hit by a demonic phantom, it wouldn't be weaker than a full power hit from Shi Yan. Little Yan, you really are something. On the side, Yang Mu laughed out loud. He held a big sword in one hand and swung it at the sky. The giant sword in his hand seemed light as a feather to him. It swung a beautiful arc in the sky. A cluster of bright silver light suddenly shot out and forced back the approaching Panja with one blow. Suddenly, from inside the meteor formation, Yang Shui, Karma, and Jing Huquan appeared. These Yang family warriors that went ahead into the meteor formation saw that Yang Mu and the others were at such a delay, and finally realized that Yang Mu had probably encountered danger. They actually came back and appeared again. With the help from Yang Shui and the other Yang family warriors, they temporarily resolved the attacks towards Yang Mu and the 2 others, unburdening them. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 giant demonic phantoms, under the murderous thoughts from Shi Yan's mind, crazily pounced towards Chao Jilan. The 3 demonic phantoms were formed purely with the negative powers in the meridians. They weren't afraid of physical attacks. No godly weapon could kill these phantoms. Under the attacks of these 3 demonic phantoms, Chao Jilan's expression also became more serious. While being encircled by 3 giant phantoms, Chao Jilan's delicate hand waved slightly, and different energy fluctuations that were different from profound qi flew out of his palm. Those strange power fluctuations rippled like water. Energy fluctuations formed into a strange barrier that was difficult to see by the naked eye. This barrier actually had extraordinary defense power. Under the bombarding of the 3 demonic phantoms, that strange barrier kept twisting, but never broke. More traces of sweat appeared on Chao Jilan's supple cheek. It seemed that also she could defend against the attack of the 3 demonic shadows with the profoundness of her martial skill. She still had to use up quite a lot of power. The seal of life and death. Shi Yan roared. The patterns from both hands suddenly glowed in bright light. With 7 seals per hand, the seals merged in pairs and suddenly blowed towards Chao Jilan. Boom, 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 boom. 7 deep and fierce bursts came from the barrier formed by Chao Jilan. The extraordinary barrier that was difficult to see by the naked eye turned into firefly-like lights that shattered into the sky and spread everywhere. Chao Jilan's pretty face changed slightly. She exclaimed, "Star shift!" The lights that spread throughout the sky suddenly gathered quickly and formed into a smooth, flat mirror in front of Chao Jilan. At the moment the mirror surface formed, the 3 giant demonic phantoms just happened to force themselves this way, their claws fiercely grabbing towards Chao Jilan. Magically, the 3 giant demonic phantoms suddenly disappeared without a trace when they fell into the mirror surface. Just right in front of Chao Jilan, those 3 demonic phantoms seemed as if they vanished in thin air, not leaving a single trace. A surprised light flashed across Shi Yan's bright red eyes. His mind shifted, and with the help of his senses, he realized that those 3 giant demonic phantoms actually appeared outside the palace, 3 li away from here. Chao Jilan used a profound martial spirit that actually managed to transport the demonic phantoms formed by negative powers and easily resolved his fatal blow. You sure have some methods. Only in the disaster realm you can actually force me to use such a defensive martial skill. You have enough to take pride in. Chao Jilan gave a light sigh and shook her head. With some sympathy, she said, "I originally wanted to catch you alive, but since you had such an eye-catching performance, it seems that I'll have to kill you first, then slowly try to figure out the secrets on you." After those words came out, suddenly there were strange lights glimmering in Chao Jilan's deep, beautiful eyes. Those strange lights circulated in a special pattern in her eyes, like the stars up in the sky, moving in their mysterious tracks according to the laws of the universe. At the same time, flows of different types of powers quickly surged in Chao Jilan's delicate body. Inside her body, 5 different lights, the colors of red, yellow, green, blue, and green, quietly appeared. These 5 different colored lights became more and more obvious. Each holy light seemed to be a power entirely different from profound qi. 5-colored holy light. Yang Mu's expression was extremely stern. He suddenly roared, "Shi Yan, you can't fight the enemy head-on. Retreat immediately." Shi Yan's bright red eyes stared coldly at Chao Jilan. At this most breathtaking moment, he suddenly closed his eyes. The faces of Yang Shui, Yang Ku, and Li Fenger suddenly changed. Together, they all yelled out, trying to convince Shi Yan to dodge. The 5-colored holy light was a sacred-level martial spirit from the Chao family. It is said that the cultivation of the skill was extremely difficult. First you have to cultivate 5 martial spirits that each form different powers, and then try to master all of those 5 martial skills. thus owning 5 different types of powers in one's body. Only then could they start cultivating the 5-colored holy light. Because the 5-colored holy light was so hard to cultivate, even in the Chow family, there were rarely anyone that could successfully cultivate it. Reportedly, the power of the skill was extremely astonishing. Once Yang Mu and the rest saw the 5 different colored lights coming from inside Chow Zhilan's body, they immediately recognized this legendary martial skill. They hurriedly tried to advise Shi Yan to dodge. However, at this crucial moment, Shi Yan actually closed his eyes. After Yang family warriors like Yang Mu, Yang Shui, Li Feng'er shouted in shock. Their expressions appeared to be extremely anxious. They wanted to go help Shi Yan, but they were stopped by the opponents in front of them and had no time to spare. I know those 3 giant demonic phantoms are quickly flying this way, but I think you won't be able to wait until their help comes. The 5-colored holy light came out, and a flow of extremely dangerous power presence came from her body. That 5-colored holy light suddenly gathered in front of her voluminous breasts. 5 types of holy light quickly formed into one broad beam holy light that was wide as a sky-reaching pillar. Devastating energy fluctuations came from inside that holy light and suddenly shot out. Its target was pointed straight at Shi Yan. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The wide 5-colored holy light shot out of thin air. Its speed was faster than the naked eye could catch. Shi Yan stood firmly in his place. Whoosh! The 5-colored god light shoot through his body. Its force was like a laser beam. It shattered one of the skyscraping pillars behind him and continued to shoot forward, crumbling another palace on its way. Little Yen! Yang Mu screamed. His expression was grievous. There were bits of mysterious light gleaming in Chow Zhilan's beautiful eyes. Her pretty face was a little surprised. She said faintly, "Another illusion. You've escaped this time, but are you going to have such great luck next time?" In the stone fragments that flew all over the sky, another Shi Yan's shadow slowly appeared. Using the electric shift and the phantom shift, and with the magical mental state of the second sky of Rampage, Shi Yan was able to predict the attack speed and direction of the holy light ahead of time, thus dodging the fatal blow of the 5-colored holy light. This time I won't dodge. His bright red eyes calmly looked at Chow Zhilan. Shi Yan's tone was flat, without a single trace of emotion. Wisps of scorching flame power quietly seeped out of the blood vein ring. The flame power swept through his meridians. Wisps of flames came about the nostrils and eye corners of Shi Yan. The condition of his body was extremely strange. At the crucial moment, the then 1,000-year-old core fire had reached out in aid once again, injecting the fire power that can burn all beings into his body. Chapter 229 Counterattack. Chapter 229 Counterattack. Dude, you scared the crap out of me. Li Feng'er stuck out her tongue and revealed an expression of lingering fear. Ha! You can even dodge the 5-colored holy light. You certainly are no ordinary person. Yang Mu's expression also loosened. He threw a look at Shi Yan from far away, signaling Shi Yan to find an opportunity to retreat back to the meteor formation. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The harsh wind sound came again. The wave of 5-colored holy light that was dodged by Shi Yan came back and actually shot toward Shi Yan's back after crushing another palace. You're not going to dodge anymore? Are you for real? There was a mocking smile on Chow Zhilan's lips. Let me see your courage then. Little Yen, don't get triggered by her. This 5-colored holy light is formed by 5 different types of powers. Even a normal disaster realm warrior probably won't be able to handle it. Don't act rashly. Yang Mu shouted. Yang Ku and Yang Shui also tried to advise him. Sure, Yen closed his eyes again. The five-colored holy light that came back brought an energy fluctuation that could destroy that heavens and earth. It blew towards Sher Yan's back. Boom! Clusters of flames continuously flew out of Sher Yan's body. The scorching flame power that came from the core fire instantly turned the area behind Sher Yan into a sea of fire. Crackling sounds appeared in the air, and the fiery power that could destroy all beings gushed inside that flame. Just like that, the five-colored holy light fell into the sea of fire formed by the flames of the 10,000-year-old core fire. SSSSS. Inside the sea of fire, there came strange sounds. They could see that the five-colored holy light was being burnt by the flame power inside the sea of fire. Firelight of 5 different colors appeared from inside the sea of fire. The power of this five-colored holy light was rapidly being burnt by the sea of fire, and its power was quickly being weakened. The 10,000-year-old core fire at the moment could count as a sky fire. The power of a sky fire was earth-shattering, able to burn all beings. The sea of fire formed by the flame power of this core fire also had the elemental properties of a sky fire. That scorching flame power was able to burn anything into flames. The different types of powers and energies were also no exception. The five-colored holy light rushed into the sea of fire and was turned to ashes by the flame power at such a quick speed, only leaving colorful five-colored smoke and ashes behind. I told you I won't dodge anymore. Sher Yan finally opened his eyes again. He glared coldly at Chao Zhilan. Inside your five-colored holy light, there is your soul seal, and your soul consciousness can lock my location. Next time, no matter how I try to dodge, I would still be endlessly chased by your five-colored holy light. So, I'm not going to dodge anymore. You can actually sense my soul consciousness. Chao Zhilan's beautiful eyes glinted with mysterious colores. Only a Nirvana realm warrior that has formed a sea of consciousness can sense my soul lock. You're only in the disaster realm. How can you possibly sense my soul lock? I don't understand. There are way more things that you don't understand. A trace of disdain flashed in Sher Yan's bright red eyes. Then he lightly shouted, "Counterattack!" The 3 demonic phantoms that flew in from outside the palace suddenly surged into the middle of the pursuing warriors. At the same time, Sher Yan's soul consciousness formed into a soul storm, adding the different negative emotions into it, and started a raging soul storm where the crowd of people was the most concentrated. Warriors under the Nirvana realm couldn't form the sea of consciousness and could only use their mind power. They couldn't form attacks that can target souls. However, Sher Yan was able to use the Soul Gathering Pearl to unbelievably form the Sea of Consciousness ahead of time. With the help of his Sea of Consciousness, he first saw through all the secrets of Chao Zhilan's soul lock. Now he was using soul attacks to bombard those pursuing killers. The formation of the Sea of Consciousness meant that Sher Yan's evolution of the soul was more successful than everyone here. With the Sea of Consciousness, Sher Yan's soul senses were in every corner. He could use soul attacks to go against any soul to perform a surprise attack. The Sea of Consciousness that was never used before suddenly bursted out with the attack of the Soul Storm. Wherever the Soul Storm went, those pursuing attackers became red-headed, then completely forgot who they were, and raised the weapons in their hands to attack the allies next to them. Waves of soul storms affected dozens of pursuing attackers, making those attackers go into disorder and become insane. Taking advantage of the situation, Sher Yan used his mind to control those 3 demonic phantoms. Those demonic phantoms were formed with pure negative energies and flew around in the field, going through the bodies of warriors. Whenever a demonic phantom went through the body of a warrior, that person's life force would be immediately cut off and die on the spot. Sher Yan suddenly crossed his legs and sat down on his spot. Using his mind to control the 3 giant demonic phantoms, he was also gathering soul consciousness at the same time adding in the negative emotions, forming a soul storm that made people lose their sanity, thus continuously influencing the battling enemies, making the pursuing attackers start to go crazy. Soul consciousness. This is soul consciousness. Chao Zhilan's soul martial spirit, after a moment of comprehension, finally realized something. She couldn't help but shout. Her face was filled with shock. What? Gu Linglong's pretty face changed drastically. She shook her head unbelievably. This kid is clearly only in the disaster realm. How can he possess the sea of consciousness? Chao Zhilan didn't answer. She copied Shiryan and also sat down. The storage ring on her hand flashed, and a red leather battle drum appeared in the palm of her hand. Bum, bum, bum. Across from Shiryan, Chao Zhilan's legs were crossed, and her fair hands hit beat by beat on that battle drum. The sound of the drum seemed to have a mysterious power that twisted soul consciousness. The beating of the drum seemed to have stabbed into Shiryan's head like a piercer, seeping into Shiryan's sea of consciousness, making him unable to form soul consciousness to form an attack again. This battle drum was clearly made to go against the sea of consciousness of Nirvana realm warriors. Bum, bum, bum. The strange sound of the drum rang throughout the field. Each of the warriors that were turned to insanity by Shiryan's soul storm had regained clarity in their eyes and slowly awakened. Shiryan's face changed. He abruptly stood up and nodded towards Yang Mu. Retreat. The three demonic phantoms that were formed with negative energies became a little out of control due to the disorder in Shiryan's sea of consciousness. They started to split into streaks of pale smoke, raveling towards Gu Linglong and the others. The soul storm was no longer working, and even the demonic phantoms formed with negative energies were hard to control. At the same time, the fatigue in his body became heavier and heavier. The after effect of the second sky of rampage seemed to have slowly started. In this kind of situation, Shiryan made a prompt decision. He knew that if they continue the fight, they were probably going to be killed one by the opponents. Retreat! Yang Mu roared. His shoulder bumped and sent Yang straight back into the meteor formation. He was scared that Yang might act stupidly again, so he sent him inside ahead of time. Then he finally shouted towards Li Fenger and the rest that were not far away, "Let's go!" Feeling the fatigue in his body rush in like waves, Shiryan no longer overexerted himself and hurriedly retreated backwards. A graceful figure wearing a fiery red armor suddenly appeared into view. Shiryan, slightly dazed. Then he realized that the beautiful figure was actually He Qingman. He Qingman's pretty face was cold. She performed an intense martial skill and fought with Yang Shui. When Yang Mu's loud roar came, He Qingman snorted coldly. The movements on her hands became more and more intense, with a ferocious look on his face, as if she was going to keep Yang Shui from escaping. "You want to die." Yen was just about to storm back towards Yang Shui's direction when he clearly saw the intense movements on He Qingman's hands. He snorted coldly and raised his hand. The life seal formed with profound qi suddenly bursted out. He Qingman was just concentrating on her fight with Yang Shui, and out of nowhere she realized there was a turbulent fluctuation coming from behind her. Her pretty face changed, and when she turned her head, she immediately noticed Shiryan's life seal attack. A strange expression appeared on He Qingman's flirtatious face. She bitterly threw a glare at Shiryan, then suddenly withdrew herself to back off towards Yang Shui's direction. Yang Shui, who was dueling with her, clearly had a great opportunity, but surprisingly didn't make a killing attempt. Instead, she suddenly backed off into the meteor formation. Shiryan was stunned. Yang Shui had obviously held back. If she didn't hurriedly back into the meteor formation and fought back at He Qingman, then He Qingman, who was busy with dodging the blow of the life seal, definitely would not have blocked an attack from behind her. "Mind your own business." He Qingman's charming figure drifted away like the wind. She quietly cursed it out while dodging Shi Yan's life seal. Shi Yan dazed, glimpsing towards He Qingman a few more times, and remembering back to Yang Shui's strange actions. Shi Yan suddenly came to a realization. So these two women had been pretending all along. The two seemed to be fighting very intensely, but in reality they never made murderous attempts. They were only making a show in front of everyone. Shi Yan, who had reacted to the situation, still had a cold expression on his face. He said coldly, "Piss off." He let out the dark shield and petrified his body. Shi Yan was like a sharp sword, quickly sweeping past He Qingman's side and quickly rushing towards that meteor formation. He Qingman raised her hand. Beams of sharp bright light shot from her 5 fingers and all blew at Shi Yan's back. The bright light, that seemed intense, actually didn't have much invading power on his body. If Shi Yan didn't shatter his dark shield on purpose, this blow from He Qingman wouldn't even be able to break the most simple dark shield. This woman still had some touches of sentiment in her. Through this blow, Shi Yan had finally confirmed that even though He Qingman came to the chasm battlefield, her objectives were different from Xie Kuei's. She didn't actually want to kill them. Shi Yan's figure disappeared within a flash. He vanished at where the dark gray cloud was the most dense. Yang Mu laughed loudly and disappeared last. Pan Zhe and the rest had ugly expressions on their faces. They rushed towards that area with the pursuing killers and were just about to enter into the meteor formation. "Let's not chase first." Chao Zhilan, who was sitting cross-legged on the ground, suddenly stood up. She shook her head with a serious expression and explained, "There is a formation in there. It's quite dangerous. The reason why the Yang family members can get in and out safely is because they already resolved the formation. But if you enter rashly, you will be attacked by the formation. Then what do we do?" Gu Longlong clenched her teeth and said bitterly, "Are we just going to let this go? Humph, I thought you were pretty strong. Yet you still can't do anything with that brat Shi Yan. And you said, leave him to you. I just shouldn't have trusted you. If I had come along, we definitely would have been able to kill him. Little sister Gu, if you're so confident, then I'll give him to you next time." Chao Zhilan didn't get mad. She smiled casually and said, "But now everyone calm down. Can you wait for me to break the formation for you first?" Everyone was silent, and then they all nodded. Chapter 230 Lost. Chapter 230 Lost. Inside the meteor formation, meteorites as big as millstones were falling from the sky one after one, and their impacts were extremely violent. As soon as he entered the meteor formation, Shi Yan immediately saw a meteorite landing beside him. Gray smoke was very thick in this place. Shi Yan couldn't see anyone. When he used his soul consciousness, he couldn't sense any life signal around him, either. As he entered the formation, Shi Yan felt as if he had walked into a strange environment where his 5 senses were clogged up and his soul consciousness was hindered. Remembering the words of Jiang Huquan, 7 steps to the left, then 5 steps to the right, Shi Yan followed this simple footwork and walked deeper into this strange meteor formation. He couldn't see people nor sense anything with his soul consciousness except for the meteorites falling over one after another. Jiang Huquan's footwork was indeed very magical. Following this pattern, Shi Yan could see the meteorites falling one by one, but none of those meteors could hit him. When some of the meteorites were about to hit him, Shi Yan wanted to try to block the meteorites using his body, but he soon found out that the meteorites fell to his side instead of hitting on him. It was like as long as he followed Jiang Huquan's footwork, he would never get hit. Shi Yan calmed down and sped up his pace to get through this meteor formation. Suddenly, a strange thought came out from the blood vein ring. Shi Yan was startled. He halted immediately. He used his soul consciousness to sense, and his face slightly changed. The earth flame became very excited. It even wanted to break out from the blood vein ring's constraint. It was unknown why it became agitated inside this meteor ray. The ice-cold flame was also present inside the blood vein ring, as the blood vein ring seemed to know that the ice-cold flame was all along a threat toward Shiryen. It used a magical power inside the ring to bind the ice-cold flame to prevent it from using its ability to attack Shiryen. However, the blood vein ring's attitude was very loose towards the 10,000-year earth flame. It seemed to know that the 10,000-year earth flame wouldn't harm Shiryen, so not only did it construct a comfortable environment for it inside the ring, but also didn't bind the earth flame. This meant the earth flame could come out from the ring as easily as it wished. This time, the earth flame's abnormality was that it wanted to come out. Don't. Shiryen used his soul consciousness to try to stop the earth flame, but he found that he was already too late. From the moment he released his soul consciousness, the earth flame had already flown away from the blood vein ring, heading towards his right side. Inside the meteor formation, Shiryen's soul consciousness couldn't detect any life fluctuations around him, but this restriction seemed not to degrade his connection to the earth flame. Maybe that was because the relationship between him and the earth flame was already too close, that there was a strange connection between them. Even Shiryen, if didn't release his soul consciousness, he still could feel the location of the earth flame. Boom, boom, boom. One after another, the meteorites continued to fall from the sky. If Shiryen didn't follow the footwork pattern, he definitely would have been hit. The earth flame ignored Shiryen's warning and flew away. It seemed to be attracted to something. At this time, if Shiryen still didn't continue to move, he would probably lose the earth flame's location if the distance between him and the flame became too far. Inside the chasm battlefield, there were many barriers. If he lost the connection with the earth flame, it would not be easy to find it again. At this time, the earth flame was only one step away from fully ascending from their location. Also at this time, if there was someone who wanted to catch it, as long as they knew the right way, they could ultimately replace Shiryen and establish a deep connection between him and the earth flame, and thus became the earth flame's new master. Shiryen's face looked uncertain. He pondered for a while, and then he decided to catch up with the earth flame. As he changed his pace, he immediately used his essence chi to burst toward the earth flame's location like a sharp sword. Boom, boom, boom. At the moment he changed his footwork, the meteorites inside the meteor formation suddenly came and crashed at him as if they had eyes. Wash! His shadow was like lightning, passing the falling meteorites with his fastest speed while avoiding them. Boom, boom! A huge meteorite suddenly came and crashed Shiryen's back. An extreme force of impact burst out from his back. Although his petrified body could withstand the impact, he couldn't maintain his speed, and thus he became the target for other meteorites. In just a few seconds, his body couldn't bear the impact from 5 meteorites, and his body was also exhausted. Under this bombardment, his mouth started to gush out blood again. Shiryen stopped and didn't dare to make any move. He silently sensed his injuries with a little impatience. At the previous fight with Chao Jilan, he had used the second sky of rampage, and his meridians had also absorbed a lot of essence chi from the dead. Now, the backlash started to show its effect, and his body became weaker. At this time, he was hit by 5 meteorites and damaged badly. If it wasn't because of his petrification martial spirit, he would have already have fallen to the ground under those attacks. The earth flame was 100 meters in front of him. For now, this distance was like a death road which was tough to pass through. If he weren't careful, he would be hit again. Inside this array, he was not sure when Chao Jilan's group would appear. If he lost his consciousness here, not only would he continue bearing the impact of those meteorites, but he also had to face the risk of being detected by Chao Jilan and the others. But if he followed the footwork, he could still get through this meteor formation and thus avoid the danger from the meteorites and Chao Jilan. However, if he did so, he would probably lose the earth flame. With a sullen face, Shi looked hesitated. In his mind, he kept weighing gains and losses and needed to make a decision soon. I'll ignore it for now. 10 seconds later, Shi made up his mind to put aside the earth flame first and wait for his body to recover before he returns to find the earth flame. He was ready to leave. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Suddenly, a dazzling red light came from earth flame's direction. A strong burning fire energy suddenly burst out. The earth flame was very excited. It used its mind power to urge Shi to keep up. Shi was stunned. The mind power from the earth flame was very clear. It seemed like it had found something and told Shi to hurry up. As the earth flame didn't have a solid form, it couldn't be hit inside the meteor formation. It also didn't know that every step that Shi took faced a considerable danger. It was just calling Shi, wanting to share its findings with him. Struggling inside his heart and feeling the call from the earth flame, Shi eyes changed again and again. Damn, bring it on. A moment later, Shi changed his decision. He took a deep breath and swallowed a few of qi refining pills. After he had felt the profound qi inside his body restored a bit, he triggered the electric shift and flew toward the earth flame's direction. Boom, boom, boom. Another 3 meteorites hit his body. The fierce impact power damaged his body and blew him into the air. He gushed out a mouthful of blood. By relying on petrification and immortal martial spirits, he didn't care about his damaged body. He triggered the electric shift again, and finally he arrived at the earth flame's location before other meteorites fell near his location. Everything became quiet again. As he entered the area where the earth flame was, the meteorites suddenly disappeared. With the mouth full of blood, Shi fell on the ground, and his face looked surprised at this area. It was an ancient array with the size of a house. Outside the ancient array, many circles of the energy flow were formed. These energy flow blocked the meteorites and prevented those meteorites from entering this array. Inside the ancient array, Shi couldn't hear anything. The earth flame was floating in the middle of the ancient array. A thumb-sized crimson red crystal laid inside the groove in the center. It seemed like that crystal was the supply source of this ancient array, overflowing red firelight and transmitting some sort of energy to this array. Outside the ancient array, there were also many grooves. Each of those grooves had a different color crystal, and each of the crystals transmitted a strange energy to provide energy to this ancient array. The earth flame was floating above that red crystal and jumping cheerfully, seeming like it wanted to absorb the energy inside the crystal. After Shi had entered and examined this ancient array, he was about to ask the earth flame what this red crystal was used for, but he found the crystals around the ancient array burst out a colorful halo all of a sudden. The ancient array that was initially quiet started to run automatically after he had entered. Being surprised a bit, Shi knew that this array was probably going to be activated. Without thinking furthermore, he quickly sent a message to the earth flame, "Get in first." The earth flame bounced as it seemed to find something abnormal. It only hesitated for a bit before immediately drilling into Shi-Yan's blood vein ring. After seeing the earth flame return, Shi-Yan was relaxed and prepared to leave this mysterious ancient array. However, when he wanted to leave, he found that the strange energy flow outside the ancient array became a barrier that blocked the way in and out at the moment the ancient array started moving. Shi-Yan's head hit the barrier, while it directly pushed his exhausted body into the middle of the ancient array. Shi-Yan was aghast. The crystals outside the array were shining dazzlingly. The ancient array suddenly spun up as if it was a disk. Through a dazzling crystal light, an extraordinary energy wave came over. Shi-Yan disappeared instantly. Chapter 231 Breakthrough. The Meteor Array. In another account of the old array technique, Yang Mu, Yang Shui, Yangku, Li Fenger, and other warriors of the Yang family were all standing in the old array technique formation. This formation was quite similar to the one of Shi Yan. The only small difference was of the energy crystal around the array technique. At this time, the energy crystal kept releasing a dazzling light. The Yang family's warriors then entered into the old array technique, following the time when the light was released and disappeared continuously. Yang Mu's group followed Jian Huquan's method. Each person of the Yang family used exactly this method to move forward when entering into the old array technique. Hence, they were not affected by the special outer space meteorite. According to Jian Huquan, this way led to the exit of the meteor array. Thus, Jian Huquan had reminded every one of the Yang family to not hesitate in standing in the middle of the old array technique, or else they would have been pushed out by the old array technique. Quickly, all the warriors of the Yang family went through into the old array technique and disappeared from the meteor array. Each person, like when Shi Yan had just entered, could not have seen each other's back as it was not possible to see anything inside the meteor array. Upon entering the old array technique, everyone would be teleported in a blink, so no one was aware of one another's situation. However, thanks to Jian Huquan's encouragement, they did not hesitate and entered the old array technique right away. This was the reason why Shi Yan's warriors lost trace of Yang Mu's warriors in the meteor array. Outside of the meteor array, Chai Zhilan had beautiful, tender long legs with strange light flaring up in her eyes. The soul martial spirit was controlled by her spirit, which then started to analyze the transformation of the meteor array. The soul martial spirit then realized the miraculous movement of the meteor array. All the people of Pan just stood outside the meteor array. Not a single person dared enter. Chao Zhilan, who had been using the soul martial spirit for a while, suddenly burst into laughter, slowly stood up, and then said, "With the meteor array, you can either go to the left or to the right. As long as you do not make a wrong move, the meteorites cannot attack you. Well, if you choose go on the left, move 7 steps to the left, then 5 steps to the right, and vice versa. You can move to the right 7 steps, then to the left 5 steps, and then you can get out of the meteor array. So, should we go to the left or to the right?" Gu Linglong knitted his brows and irritatingly said, "Inside the meteor array there are 2 sure ways out, which may possibly lead to 2 different areas. Our target is the Yang family, so we should first figure out the direction of the Yang family, and only then will we be able to pursue them." Chao Zhilan calmly asked, "How can we know the path that the Yang family had taken?" Xie Kuei's face darkened with a murderous look in his eyes. Yang Mu is easy to deal with. If he isn't already dead, he will surely find a way for revenge. If we fight with the Yang family, we cannot let them have a single chance of survival. We simply cannot let anyone live. When Shi Yan and I had fought, I recognized that he had vigorous flame power. I had just used my soul martial spirit recently and discovered that there was a very strong movement of flame power on the right. Chao Zhilan faintly smiled. Maybe Shi Yan is on the way out on the right. Yang Mu will not be separated from Shi Yan. If Shi Yan is there, the Yang family will be there too. Good. We'll follow the way on the right then. Panja nodded and spoke to warriors of the Penglai divine land who stood behind him. Remember carefully of Miss Chao's words. Once entering the meteor array, they were to first move to the right 7 steps, then to left 5 steps, not daring to make a mistake. Okay, I'll lead. Chao Zhilan calmly entered first. In the middle of the immense and oppressively hot desert, a figure with their arms and legs up like a dead squirrel, slowly breathing and exhaustively tired. Many different powers started to recover inside of his body, and the negative emotions inside of the meridian silently scattered out. The desert temperature was scorching, but there was no sun. The sky was vivid red, like the color of fresh blood. Looking around carefully, there were uneven dunes out there. There was no signs of life, no greenery, and no sound whatsoever. A flaming power stream flew out from the ring, flying around flexibly in the heated desert. It seemed to signal something. This place makes me uncomfortable. A flow of cold flames from the blood vein ring circulated around. This strange atmosphere has scorching powers. The air blast seems to belong to the sun. But there is no sun. I do not know what is going on. This is somewhere in the area of the chasm battlefield. Ugh, strange indeed. The earth flame seems to like this place very much so. After coming here, he seems to be happy, Shiryen replied. He was kicked out by the old array technique and fell down in this vast desert. He did not have any other old array technique. His whole body was injured. He did not have any more energy to explore this mysterious place. He then laid on the ground without moving, silently recovering. We cannot see the sun in this place, but there is still the intense power of the sun. Very strange indeed. The ice-cold flame was musing for a while before it suddenly said, "This place is very suitable for your refining technique. You can rely on the mysterious power here. Use the earth flame to keep practicing the refining technique. This will help your body become stronger. Recover first, then we will see." Shiryen did not refuse, and smiled miserably while looking up to the sky. He stopped talking to the ice-cold flame and focused on slowly recovering. After taking the refining pills, the power spread out and combined with his profound qi. Without using too much energy, his profound qi was getting stronger by the minute, and the consumed qi was replenished quickly. Refining pills were a marvelous drug which restored profound qi. Refining pills were treasured in the endless sea. Only powerful warriors could take them, whereas normal warriors did not have enough ability to be able to consume the refining pills. The therapeutic power of the 10 refining pills was enough for the profound qi of a warrior at the earth level stage to restore quickly. For Shiryen, who had only the disaster realm peak, the effect of these 10 refining pills was more than enough. The profound qi was silently concentrating. Shiryen relaxed his mind and started to realize the strange things that was happening inside of his body. The injured body was recovering rapidly under the effect of the immortal martial spirit. Bones, which had been destroyed by the meteorites, were strengthened every minute. Broken blood vessels were healed in a very short time. A normal person would have needed a few days to recover, but he only needed a few minutes. Inside his meridian channel, a flow of air quickly circulated and filtered the energy, which had been refined by the mysterious martial spirit, so that it could be absorbed directly. However, negative thoughts appeared and silently disturbed Shiryen's mind, pulling him down to the deep, dark abyss. This time, about 10 warriors had died inside of the castle. As a result of the death of the 10 Earth level stage warriors, their energy was now being transferred into him. Negative feelings created from refining this energy was enough for him to lose his mind and go insane. After slowly sensing for a while, he realized that it was not easy to stay strong-minded. Shiryen contemplated for a moment and decided to hide behind the dunes. Places that he went, others could also find out. If Chao Zhilan's warriors came while he was refining the energy and got crazy, it simply would not be safe. After spending some time recovering, his body was restored a little bit. He then released the finger gun. His 10 fingers were then like 10 sabers arising out of the sand, making way for him to get into the dune. The earth flame flew around outside. It seemed to sense Shiryen's intentions and stopped careening before his body disappeared behind the dune. Shiryen, once again, immersed himself in the blood vein ring. Holding his breath, Shiryen went 10 meters inside the dune until his whole body was covered with sand and could not move any further. He then stopped. Not long after that, the refining meridian channels reached to the key point of time. He finally could not resist the persistent negative thoughts and started losing his mind. Deep down, 10 meters inside the dune, Shiryen was struggling with all the sand enveloping him, The pressure of the sand on him made it impossible to utter a single word. The sand became a natural chain that temporarily binded him. Shi Yan then lost his mind and wriggled about mindlessly. He could not think of using the finger gun to claw his way out. He only kept struggling inside of the dune, squirming about mindlessly. A long time had passed. Shi Yan's struggle weakened, and he stopped yelling. All strange energy silently flew out from his meridian channels, spreading to every corner in his body. Shi Yan gradually lost his perception and did not realize that his body had transformed. He unwittingly had let strange energy run inside of his body, pervading his arteries and bones. Time had slowly passed. Shi Yan suddenly woke up after a long time. He immediately realized that his exhausted body started to gain its full power back. No matter if it was the profound qi or his own body, both fully recovered to the max, and it couldn't be better. Oh! The light of profound qi on his belly kept condensing and shrinking. Although there was no one conducting it, the light of profound qi was refining quickly. Following the light of profound qi, every corner of his body was acting like sponges, drawing on the profound qi energy which was flowing out from the light. Shi Yan's consciousness ran around his whole body inside out. His mind was suddenly omniscient. Right after that, an exciting smile appeared on his face. He then started to relax his spirit and depended on the transformation to move the energy from the light of profound qi to his body. Harnessing the power from that energy, his arteries became sparklingly transparent, like a miraculous, delicate jade. His arteries were changing and gradually expanding whenever profound qi flew in. Expanding arteries helped profound qi move faster inside of his body, which meant that his capacity for profound qi was much higher. His body movement was also even quicker. The allobiosis of arteries was the best visual sign to see when the stages of disaster had broken through to the Earth level stage. Chapter 232, The Earth Realm. Chapter 232, The Earth Realm. Translator, Editor. Inside the dune. Shi Yan's entire body luminesced dazzlingly since his tendons and vessels had been overwhelmed with the bountiful, profound qi which made his vessels sleek and smooth. As a result, the veins on his body were also developed, enlarged, and became much sturdier. The running speed of the profound qi was getting faster, while the flow of the profound qi kept moving nonstop, then branched forth, pouring into the blinding rays of the profound qi light. The profound qi's light on his belly was continually being depressed and refined as it had propelled the stored energy inside of that ray of light so that it kept on increasing, which was the result of that peculiar strength. That fantastic strength was released from his meridians, which had then promoted the miraculous effect of the profound qi light. Thanks to this mysterious effect, the profound qi light kept on being condensed and refined nonstop, and it didn't seem to stop even though it had already tripled in size. As the vessels had been enlarged and hardened, Shi Yan's body seemed to be bloated, swarmed by heavy sensations of pain. However, the pain that ensued from the bloating was nothing compared to the hardship of the martial arts cultivation. Shi Yan held his breath as he was initiating the realm of his meditative state, while his entire body and mind were concentrating on the process in which the profound qi light was transforming his body. "Ah!" said the ice-cold flame, as it suddenly sent out a message from the blood vein ring. "Are you going to break through the Earth realm?" "Yes, that's right." "Very good, very good." The ice-cold flame displayed a wicked tone. "You have already obtained another flame. If you use the burning fires of the earth flame to temper your vessels during your cultivation, your vessels will be more tenacious and resilient. As long as you can withstand this arduous cultivation, the circulation speed of the profound qi in your vessels will be much stronger than that of the other ordinary earth realm warriors that have been trained with the same martial art techniques as you have, which naturally means that you will be quicker than them when performing such techniques. So, what do you think of this? Yan's eyes had suddenly brightened up as he exclaimed. Not a problem at all. I am connecting with the earth flame now. You don't have to do anything this time. Anyway, you are in the confinement area of the blood vein ring, and the communication between the earth flame and me is no longer difficult, as from before. That's good since I can't use my strength either way for now, so I will not be able to help you. All right, after using the earth flame's power to temper your body, you still have to be on the alert and try not to be too harsh because the earth flame is now equivalent to the heaven flame. Its heating power can easily burn you down into ashes. Remember this carefully. You have to carry on just one step at a time. I got it. Sure. Yen then moved his consciousness from the ice-cold flame toward the 10,000-year earth flame's direction in the blood vein ring, sending a clear message that he wanted to ask for the support of its heating power to temper his body. The earth flame could not send out a visual message, but it still displayed its excitement and joy. As soon as the earth flame showed its emotions, Yen immediately realized that many scorching energy fibers had shot out from the blood vein ring and were now running along his finger toward the vessels inside his body. The torment from being burned by the burning fires had been spreading all over his body as his original face in being total comfort had now become fierce. He gritted his teeth and took a deep breath before urging the power of the burning fires so that it was dispersing into the vessels in his body. Right after the earth flames, burning fires had thoroughly penetrated into his vessels, the once bright, translucent vessels were now turned into the brilliant colors of a fire crystal. At the same time, when the earth flame's burning forces had seeped into his body, a tiny trace of a black impurity which was instantly incinerated into ashes by the earth flame's burning fires appeared in the vessels under the constant incineration flames burning fires and was then expelled through his pores. Absorbing a few impurities was inevitable when his vessels were developing, as the existence of impurities would have certainly affected the resilience and plasticity of his tendons and vessels. Normally, after having broken through the earth realm, the warriors would usually be so overwhelmed with joy that in the majority of time, they hadn't noticed the appearance of the impurities as their vessels were being enlarged. Even though they had known that the impurities would have also appeared while their vessels were being developed, they had no solutions to avoid it. However, these peculiar body refinement martial arts techniques could have easily taken advantage of the heaven flame's power to purify all the impurities that were left in Yan's body, as well as enhance his vessel's resilience at the same time. Anyway, body refinement martial arts techniques were originally used to temper magical weapons, since each magical weapon needed to have gone through thousands of tempering and purification processes for the purities to be removed so that the weapons would dominate the battlefield without being defeated by superior weapons. All right, as the earth flame was pouring more and more scorching forces into his body, Yen could feel that even his vessels would have burned down, so he hastily sent out a message to ask the earth flame to stop. Thus, the sweltering power of the burning fires from the earth flame was then silently ceased. Releasing a long sigh, Yen stopped thinking and then put his mind in the ethereal realm, sustained his restful mind, and suffered the pain from the heat's movement inside his vessels as he gritted his teeth while being on the alert. He gradually relaxed and enlarged his vessels, receiving many streams of the profound qi that were massively flowing into his vessels like surging tides. After a while, his vessels had quietly absorbed a lot of the profound qi, which resulted in the decrease of the profound qi that were now moving inside the vessels. The profound qi also blended with the peculiar strength that had been refined by that mystery martial spirit. This strength seeped deeply into Yan's vessels, amending and soothing his painfully cracked vessels a little bit. He could clearly feel this peculiar strength's existence, which seemed to make his vessels sturdy and resilient. As long as these mysterious forces ran inside his vessels, he could instantly have a miraculous fantasy that his vessels would never break. The mystery martial spirit was marvelous indeed. Time quickly passed by. After an unknown duration of time, His vessels had stopped enlarging, since right now they were like a fire crystal that flared up the heart-stirring, glowing red light. When the power of the burning fires had gradually vanished, and the red light also faded away, his vessels were finally recovering, little by little, as they regained their normal state. The profound chi halo on his belly shrank to the peach-like size, radiated sparkling light which contained powerful energy fluctuations. After going through this refinement, the profound chi had been increased 5 times more than before. Shi Yan's mind flickered as the profound chi was suddenly poured into his vessels, inducing the moving speed of the profound chi inside his vessels to be tripled, so that the vessel's capacity for the profound chi had also increased significantly. Shi Yan then comfortably released a life seal. The handprint was sparkling with 7 beams of lights, because it was now big as a basin, compared with the normal palm size from before. He suddenly launched the strike, zooming up above his head. As soon as this life seal was released, it pierced through the 10-meter-tall dune above his head like a magical weapon, breaking the dune, opening up the glowing red sky outside. The sky was as red as fire, the atmosphere was sweltering, and everything was the same as before. Shi Yan beamed a faint smile as the vessels on his feet suddenly produced an explosive sound, and his body then instantly moved like lightning, soaring aloft. Standing on the dune, bowing his head looking down at the sand crater, and Shi Yan saw that his illusory figure had gradually disappeared. After breaking through the earth flame, the speed of his martial arts performance would be several times faster than before, and thus his strength must have also skyrocketed as well. Previously, he hadn't been skillful in changing the phantoms. However, as he had just reached the earth realm, he could now arbitrarily perform it. Looking up to the sky, Shi Yan gradually restrained his joy as he then searched inside the blood vein ring for a while before taking out the soundstone, trying to make contact with Yang Mu's group. However, there was no response after his voice had been transmitted into the soundstone. It seemed that the soundstone wasn't working anymore. Shi Yan's face became grave while he tightly knitted his eyebrows. He then tried again to transmit his voice into the soundstone, hoping for a response to come out. Regretfully, it was unknown whether because of the situation or other reasons that the soundstone didn't have any reactions. Eventually, Shi Yan had to accept that he had lost contact with the Yang family's people. In the vast chasm battlefield, being an outsider as well as without the Soundstone's intercourse, he had no way to find Yang Mu's group. In this immense desert, his soul consciousness couldn't detect any living fluctuations. There was no the sun, nor the moon, nor the stars. He couldn't find the direction to move forward, didn't know where the road ahead led. Shi Yan suddenly felt a little unconscious. A small crimson-red flame was quietly flying out of the blood vein ring, gathering on his chest, joyfully dancing and jumping. "You're going out again." Shi Yan forced a smile and temporarily forgot all about the unknown directions. He then used his soul consciousness to send out a message to ask with excitement, "So, do you probably know the direction?" I still don't know which way to go. If you have any suggestion, I will follow you." The 10,000-year earth flame beautifully flickered in the air like a fire wizard and then concernedly retrieved most of its flame power to reduce the heat that Shi Yan was unlikely to endure. After having received Shi Yan's message, the 10,000-year earth flame didn't waste more time and proactively led the way. Without the sun, the moon, and the stars, Shi Yan couldn't clearly identify the direction, though he just vaguely felt that the direction that the earth flame was heading towards was the hottest place in the desert. "Okay, I am going with you." Shi Yan revealed a smile and nodded. He joyfully followed the earth flame, heading with it towards the direction that it was leading him without overthinking. It was still early anyway, and even if he had to stay in this chasm battlefield for 3 more years, temporarily losing his direction was not a terrible thing. Thus, he was not too anxious. under the red fire sky. In this endless desert, many beams of light flashed up in different areas at the same time. Besides Shuryen, Chao Zhilan, Panja, Gulinglang, Xiakue, Chu Yanqing, Hiqingman, and almost 100 of the other warriors that had also arrived at this desert. Although they had entered that ancient formation as a group, for some reason, they had been transported to different areas. Pan, Zhe, Chao Zhilan, and more than 10 other warriors who didn't belong to the group of the two of them that had been moved to the same area. Meanwhile, Gu Linglang and Chu Yanqing had been transferred to another totally different area. Meanwhile, Xiakue and Hiqing Man, who were always together, had appeared in 2 different but close areas. They then quickly found each other. Many of the Earth Realm warriors, who had also been scattered in different areas of this immense desert, were mentally fatigued since they couldn't identify their coordinates because they didn't see the sun, the moon, or the stars. Like Shuryen, those who had arrived at this peculiar space couldn't use the sound stone to make contact with anyone. In this place, the sensing forces of the soul consciousness were dramatically weakened, and thus their sensing powers were also very feeble. Therefore, once falling into this place, as well as being unlikely to find other companions, when the warriors realized that both the sound stone and the sensing power was of no use, they were all in a daze like Shuryen, without knowing any directions or where to go first in this boundless desert. The feeling of losing their purposes had dispirited them severely. After having arrived at this place, as those pursuers all realized that it was very hard to find their target, as well as the way to go back, they all had a toneless look on their faces. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.